Well. Welcome back to episode 2 of Turnbuckle Talk with yours truly, JJ Dub, and the man across the room from me, Mr. Samtastic29. How are we today,
Up,
my man? How are we
mate.
doing?
I am good. It's been a good week. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a different week in the WWE world. Let's put it that way. It's a very mixed emotion week.
Yes, I've been excited for this episode because of what's been happening. The comments I've seen all over YouTube, Instagram, just everywhere on social media that I have some sort of presence and keep up to date with. I have seen like you say, a mixture is the only way to put it
Yeah,
of emotions, whether it be disappointment, elated. Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy week to say the least.
yeah, and I, I don't. I'm going to start. We'll start with the biggest elephant in the room, the draft. The
Well, I'm
worst
glad you did
draft
because that's at the
in the
top of my
world.
list. Draft my literal list is bullet points of what I want to talk about for each show, right? And at the top it is 2 words: draft disappoints. That's it. Is there any more to say about it other
No, I
than it
mean,
was
next to
lackluster to say the least?
next to mine, it just said draft shambles. So, I mean,
Yeah,
we're both on the same page here.
I think I think the biggest thing for me is everybody has been so hype about Triple H and this new era, the landscape changing for the better now that Vinnie Mac is 100% no ties to WWE. Triple H has stepped it up over the past months and it has been amazing. And what a time to be a wrestling fan. There is no shadow of a doubt about that. But then you bring in the draft and your opening line is, this is going to change the landscape of the wrestling business. And it changes nothing.
No,
Apart from a few call-ups from NXT and Bron Breakker, notably moving from SmackDown after signing with Nick Aldis now to Raw, what changes have there been? Champions are protected, and then everybody else has seemingly stayed put where they already were.
yeah, that for me, the champions are excluded, they're protected. Like, why? Why? What was the need for that? The only thing I can think of with Cody staying on SmackDown is they're trying to elevate SmackDown. That's that. That's all I can
Yeah,
think about in that
I think so.
point. But why are we protecting them? We've never protected them before. We've always had constant drafts of champions going back and forth, back and forth. You've had both world
Yeah.
champions on one show at one point. Like
Yeah, I
you've
mean,
had John Cena
unification's
going
happened in the
back and
past.
forth when at one point, when it was 1 minute to Raw and
And
one
the
to
drafts
SmackDown.
were exciting then. When that draft happened, it wasn't two teams pictured in a back office pretending like they're excited for something to happen, like they had with Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis this week and last week on the draft. It was done randomly, or at least we were told it was done randomly. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. I'm not going to say it was, but we were told it was.
But you had
And the computer
excitement
would come
to
up and
it.
it would generate an image, it would cycle it, and it would stop.
But you
And
had
out of nowhere, it
yeah,
was genuine excitement because nobody knew what was going to happen.
the superstars as well were always either in a locker room together with their respective
Yeah,
brand shirts on at that point, or they were
and the only locker room
backstage.
that did it this time was NXT, and that's only because of the possibility of somebody being drafted from NXT. What I'd like to know is, I get why they want to draft people from NXT to either Raw or SmackDown to elevate them, but why is no one being drafted to NXT?
Yeah, that was
There's a
kind
lot of
of
talent that could elevate NXT, but isn't being used in the right way in Raw or SmackDown,
mm,
that could do really well. Like when they sent Finn Balor back, or they sent Becky Lynch back to elevate the title, and a few bits like this, and like Baron Corbin as of late. There's a lot of people that could have done that as well.
oh, massively. It was just yeah. Why were they excluded from the
Yeah,
draft picks? Like, why was it you could take their stars, but you couldn't? They couldn't take anyone else's. What it was.
exactly. I
I
mean,
don't know if we're overlooking this a bit too much. Maybe it was just have we put too much emphasis and tried to raise that bar higher than what it should have been
maybe,
because of what's been going on?
possibly.
And then because I've seen tweets that from like with in regards to like WWE, the backstage, that they were happy with how it went. They were
Yeah,
they were content. They wanted it to go that way, and it went that way. Which, if they're happy, we're going to be happy because
I would hope so. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? No matter how much we scrutinise it, if if the wrestlers are happy and the staff are happy backstage and the production teams and everything like that, then ultimately we're going to get a better product week in, week out, because you've got better morale. People want to, perform. They want to be there. So ultimately, in the long run, we win either way. I just miss that excitement of the not
Yeah,
knowing. It's like when you're a kid and you go to the fairground and you pay 50p for a lucky dip. You have no idea what you're going to get. You know you're going to get something,
but
but
what
you
is
just
it?
got no clue what's going to happen. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, just anything. Even if it was like you used to have like matches, didn't you? Like Raw versus SmackDown for
Yeah,
someone would get an extra pick if that brand wins, or
or someone
someone's
would
going
get
to
the
get
first pick.
drafted like
Yeah,
that
absolutely
didn't
that.
want to because they've lost the match, or
Yeah.
just a little bit extra, just a little bit more.
I
Like,
mean, I can see why the picks were made. The picks that were made, I can see why they were made. I just think for me it lacked that something special that you expect when they say draft. You expect excitement, you expect surprises.
yeah,
I don't think there was any surprise there for me. I knew Dragunov was going to be called up. It's about damn time. He
yeah.
just took his loss to Trick Williams. He's been, he featured on Raw a few weeks ago and beat Shinsuke, as we discussed last week.
Carmelo Hayes,
It's about damn time he came up. Yeah, Carmelo Hayes. That's
I
one
like
thing
that
that I was
one.
going to talk
I
about as
like
well. I like Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is a good one. Absolutely, definitely a good one. And to go and call out Cody
straight
in your
away.
first match,
I, I
fair
accept
play
that.
to him. And they put on a hell of a match as well.
Yeah, no, that was a really fun. That was a fun watch. That was.
It was, yeah,
It wasn't one of those where it was just going to be expected of David versus Goliath in the
no,
sense of Cody's obviously the man and Carmelo's the
the
new
biggest
boy.
superstar. Yeah,
It was
yeah,
they both
absolutely,
gave everything to that, and it was back and forth. It was
yeah.
back and
And I
forth, and
think that
then
last spot before Cody hit the crossroads, it makes you wonder: did he actually hurt his shoulder? Because he did land. You can tell watching it; he didn't mean to land like that.
no, you could
He definitely landed a bit unexpectedly on his shoulder.
he elevated a bit higher on that off that
Yeah,
rope when you saw it.
I think so.
It was meant to happen, but it wasn't meant to happen.
Yeah,
Like yeah,
but
so
overall, I think it was a great match. I think the two great superstars that meet in the ring,
yeah,
instantly got good chemistry. Melo's on the rise. He's a younger
he's
guy.
got a lot
Cody
to
is
offer.
now, you know, yeah, absolutely. And Cody still has a lot to offer as well.
Yeah,
And I don't think you can go wrong with that. And I think it's a great face off, and for Melo to come out and for them to agree for him to have his first shot at SmackDown after being drafted at the champion. Why not? Well, what a statement to make straight off the bat.
the only thing I will say to that match though that I didn't like was after Cody Rhodes shaking his hand. I still
Mm.
want Cody Rhodes to be an arsehole.
Well,
Please give me that
so now
arsehole.
this goes back to one of our videos from last week, and a couple of the comments on TikTok and Instagram that we've seen to our videos of people going, "Oh, it's only been a couple of weeks. How did we feel about Cody? Roman at first." I felt differently about Roman when Roman was crowned the champion at first. There was something different about Roman, which is what I don't feel about Cody. I do think that Cody has it in him to be a fantastic heel. I think that would be great down the line if they do a heel turn on him. I'm still undecided. Yes, I will concede and I'll hold my hands up to those comments. It is very early days, but my opinion still stands at the moment, as unpopular as it may be, that Cody for me is not the face of the company. He's a great champion. He will be a great champion, and in time, my opinion may change. But for now, I still stand by that.
Yeah, I've got nothing against him being champion. I just want an arsehole to be a champion. That's it.
Oh
I want
yeah,
that excitement. I want that anger just of at the end of a match, just the whole ego just taking over because you
yeah,
are champion. Get your ego in front of yourself.
yeah,
Put it there.
absolutely.
That's what I want to see.
That's exactly right.
Like I say, Cody, he's got everything to be a great champion, no doubt about it. But he just
Yeah,
needs
of
to put
course.
his ego first. Really does. That
Yeah,
is it. Because
100%.
it also stems to the contract signing between them two, in the
Yeah,
fact that it was two separate tables, which was weird to start with anyway. And then also from that, they didn't really, they were too respecting of each other. Styles
Yeah,
sort of went from
and
heel
it's,
to face, and I don't know why.
and it's the same with Mello as well. If you look at Mello recently, he shakes Cody's hands at the end, but he only just recently had a huge heel turn where he turned on his partner of a few years and snapped him back. Why? You would think that now he's gone to SmackDown, they're going to keep that running. Mello doing his his promo against Cody, saying I can't think of a better way than being the first draft pick or on the first draft pick to shoot my shot at the king, and Mello don't miss. Well,
Mm,
Mello, not only did you miss in the match, which we knew was going to happen, let's face it,
yeah.
um, but they've missed the step with Mello keeping him heel there.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know if we're just pushing the bar too high as the expectations, and it's to come. But
Don't know.
there's just a few things that you just want to see start to iron themselves out a bit more going
And
forward.
I think that's the thing. Are we as I mean, you and I are both long-term wrestling fans in the sense that I've been watching for 30 years since I was 5, 6 years old, and you, a similarly long time. And maybe we are thinking, okay, yeah, we've been in this, in this Vince McMahon era for so long. We want it to change, and we're, kind of hoping it's going to change overnight. But realistically, are we not giving it enough time? Maybe not. But we know what we want to see. That's the thing. We know what we want to see. We
Just
know where we'd
tweaks.
like it to head. Yeah, it doesn't have to be massive things. I think they're doing a hell of a job. Triple H has got my utmost respect. I absolutely love the man. I think he's going to run with it and absolutely make it phenomenal. I think it's going to be the best it's ever been
Oh yeah,
under Vince,
you can
under
see it
control of
though
TKO.
in little
Yeah,
increments.
absolutely. You can see it.
You can see where
Yeah,
a lot of it's heading. It seems to me though that they're just being a bit safe with certain champions and certain people.
yeah,
Okay,
I
I
think
get
so.
it because you want to keep them happy to to not want them to leave, which
Yeah,
fine, I respect that, but at the same time, just push them a little bit. Just push them a
yeah,
little bit. That's all you got to do.
I think so. And and you say about champions and being pushed and stuff. I'd like to, with that note, I'd love to go on to the match featuring Sammy and Bronson Reed, with obviously Sammy hitting that hula kick, and then out of nowhere, Mr. Chad Gable comes in on his heel of heel turns with that bloody big German suplex, and that's surely setting up a triple threat for Backlash, right?
Yeah, so that
No contest between Reed and Sammy as a result. Chad Gable gets the better of Sammy. Bronson Reed gets up, gets the better of both of them.
yeah.
That's surely got to be a triple threat for the IC Championship at Backlash, which is a great match. I think it's a fantastic match.
Yeah, see, I need to hold my hands up a tiny bit. I still don't get the whole why is Bronson such a big thing? But at the end of that match, after obviously Chad come in and Bronson showed a bit of what he's got, why
Mm,
he's the big guy, why he should be feared,
yeah.
which I I'm gonna probably start to like him a bit more now, just because
but
I've seen a little bit in him, but I still need to see why. Why is he such a big
we
presence?
need that. We need that because it's been lackluster. There's only ever one big guy that I think at the moment brings such a presence, and that's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, I think people forget how big that man actually is. He's fucking huge.
Yeah, what I saw like a post, like an Instagram video of him just out, and yeah, I didn't realize how big he actually was because
Yeah,
when you see
you
him in the
don't
ring, he doesn't
realize
look
how
that
big he
big.
is until yeah, exactly. But he is fucking ginormous. That man is absolutely monstrous.
Yeah, but yeah, going back to Gable, it suits him being that heel. It
Yeah,
suits him.
and it makes sense.
And if things are aligned and Kurt Angle has put his hat in the ring to come and be his
Yeah,
supportive manager, get him in because that
which
would
he
make for the
has.
perfect team.
I was just about to say that. I've seen it all over the internet, dotted around, that Kurt Angle is open for a return as a heel manager, and he would make the. He's great as a heel.
He's
Kurt
training
Angle did
himself.
his best
That's
work as a heel.
what he's
Exactly,
doing. Because peak heel
exactly.
angle was insane. He
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
perfect. Like
Yeah.
as champion, not as champion, it didn't matter.
There
He
was
was
there was a reason that
perfect.
he was called the best in the world and the best at, there's been a lot of people that have been called best in the world. CM Punk calls himself best in the world. Chris Jericho has called himself best in the world. Kurt Angle, genuinely for me at peak, was the best in the world,
He was just.
in
He
my
was.
opinion.
He. Yeah. He could be feared for such
Yeah,
a little guy. You could still
and it
fear
makes
him a
sense
lot.
as a pedigree for a manager for Kurt Angle to come back. Not only as a heel, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He's held copious amounts of world titles in every organization he's been in. I mean, look, in TNA at one point, he held every title. At one point, he was holding, the X Division Championship, the Television Championship that Booker T introduced. He was holding the World Championship. This man was draped in gold, and he's been draped in gold his whole career. And so to have that championship pedigree, as well as the Olympic pedigree, and Gable's been at the Olympics, he knows what it takes. But just
Hmm.
they suit. I think they
Yeah.
suit so well. Disband Gable from the Alpha Academy. It doesn't work anymore. The Alpha Academy are too nice. You got Maxine, Tozawa, and Otis. Otis is great, but heel does not describe Alpha Academy. Bring Kurt
Not
Angle
at
in. That'd
all.
be an amazing. That'd be an amazing plot, I think.
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah,
I could see Gable getting that gold a lot sooner than we think. I just think,
I think so.
I think there's more there for Sammy in another push somewhere else. I just,
Yeah, I mean maybe. I don't know if I agree with you on that one. I don't know if Sammy's been. I mean, I'd love to say yeah, Sammy is a world champion, but for me, he just doesn't do it.
it's just the
Maybe a
Intercontinental,
storyline, a different storyline. Yeah,
just that picture. I just don't think it's built bigger for Sammy. It's built for a Gable or even a Bronson Reed to hold that, or you got Sheamus
yeah.
coming back into the fold. Like
That made me so happy. It makes me so happy that this man is back.
you've got, and yeah, because obviously Gunther's not coming back to that. We know that now. He's even thrown his
He's already established that he wants to go King of the Ring.
yeah.
I did see though. Did you see the tweet? Speaking of Sheamus and King of the Ring, did you see the tweet about Sheamus
I haven't
that
yet.
he
No.
said that when he wins King of the Ring, he just put a photo up of an iconic character and he said, "I want to be known as this," and it was a picture of the Burger King, the actual king, and he said, "When I win King of the Ring, I want to be known as Burger King."
Oh, what a guy! I
And fair
mean,
play to that
the
man for taking those
yeah,
jabs and just using
and
it to his
playing it now.
advantage.
Like he's brought it
Yeah,
into his
absolutely.
character. That's
Yeah,
perfect. Like he's
yeah.
got it all. And yeah,
I'd
like
read it and I died. I was like, this is too funny.
and yeah, Gunther as well. Obviously, at the end of his match against Xavier Woods, where he was just picking up the crown and just plop onto his head with a big
Yeah.
smile. It was
Well,
like
Xavier is obviously a former King of the Ring as well.
so. Yeah, like that's what he's doing. He's just stole his crowd and
Mm,
he's give a big smile because that match as well. That was Gunther showed how dominant he can be to the smaller
yeah,
guy. Like he was ready
yeah.
just
I think so.
to
And
rip,
Xavier Woods is not a small guy either.
but
That's the thing.
he was ready to rip
He's
his
quite
legs
a
off.
good size. Yeah,
Like
he was. Yeah.
it was Kofi made me laugh though with the whole ready to throw the towel in. Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Got Ludwig on the ropes going, do it, and then he was just like, no, in the
No.
crowd.
That's it. That's exactly it. But that's the New Day, isn't it? New Day always adds some great entertainment
But yeah,
to the matches,
I hope.
from a fun perspective as well as a serious
But
perspective as a
again, like we
babyface
spoke
performer.
last week, they're there to be able to help to push no matter
Yeah,
what, and
I think that's what
it
they are now.
gives a
Yeah,
good elevation. Especially like we know Gunther's a good destined for big things no matter what. Like he's
yeah,
going that way, but for him to be on the path as well, just to say that the New Day or he just like going one on one, toe to toe with
yeah.
them, it still helped his in ring ability to move
Oh
on
yeah,
a
of
step.
course, absolutely it does, absolutely, and that's why I think Mello against Cody was so great because Mello is already an outstanding talent anyway, and just keeps improving.
Mm.
So to go against the top dog, so to speak, to go against Cody is great for him. Um, Speaking of though, with the Imperium implosion,
Yep.
didn't she on SmackDown, Imperium on Raw? This gonna be interesting. I know we touched on it last week. But it's going to be interesting now that he's completely been drafted away from
Yes,
them. So they're not going to have any kind of storyline at all. I would at least thought they may have got some revenge of Vinci going after Ludwig. Maybe not Gunter, but Ludwig, because Ludwig was the one that done the damage. But the fact that he's been drafted to SmackDown and completely separated
they sort of
is a
just
bit
beat on him, tore him apart, and then
listen,
just
just
thrown into the
beeline
other
past it.
ground.
Yeah,
As if
yeah,
to say,
exactly.
yeah, we've literally washed our hands of you completely, which again it is a story still. We've washed our hands of you, go away.
Yeah.
Like you're done.
And that's what it's going to be now. It's going to be a case of him finding his identity as a solo competitor away from Imperium, and that is going to haunt him. You know, it's going to come up in commentary that he was in, you know, that he was
Mm.
recently attacked, and he's going to have, hopefully, his character's going to have a bit of rage, and he's going to want to take that out on some upcoming opponents because of he's frustrated that he can't get to Ludwig.
Or are they pushing him
So I'd
into
like to see that.
a new tag team with a new potential partner in because
But
the
who?
tag division on SmackDown looks weak. It looks even weaker now.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Look at it. You've got Solo, you've got Tamatunga, and now finally, after a week of waiting, RK Owens.
Yeah,
RKO came out
but I
and
just
saved
don't
Kevin
think
Owens.
they're going to go much further in being a tag team.
I don't know, but it works. It's so funny.
Oh, of
It's
course it
so
does.
good. Kevin Owens with Randy Orton. He looks. You can tell that he looks up to Randy so much. You
But
can tell that he's like when he punched the two, when he punched Pretty Deadly, he was like, "Look, Randy, look what I did. Look what he's like trying to get his approval, like he's looking at his dad." And I love that because Randy is such a legend, and Kevin's a legend in his own right.
oh, of
I love the
course.
way they work together,
But I just
and I
can't
think it's
see them
it's going to be
being
interesting to see
a
how
permanent
they work
tag.
at Backlash. No, maybe not. But for now, don't tarnish my dreams on this, all right? Just for the short term. Let me have
Don't
this.
yeah, don't get me wrong. The fact that he come out this week and saved Kevin
Oh,
Owens.
it made me so happy.
It was like last week he was out of the country. Let's say
Anywhere,
he couldn't be
yeah,
there for whatever reasons, but
for whatever
he
reason,
was
yeah.
there this week, and that was great. Like that was brilliant. Like the whole play of it. Like it just looked as though I was watching it. I was just like, oh, Kev's just going to get beat on, beat on. Like no one cares, and then the music dropped, and he stormed straight
Even
out.
Wade Barrett said, "Of all the music you do not want to hear, it's in it's I Hear Voices." But
But
then Tamatunga, he looked shook.
I was,
Like he saw the size of Randy Orton, he must have thought, "Oh fuck, this guy's
but
massive. This is a tank coming
on
towards
the
me."
other front, Tamatonga, he's just a rabid dog.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah, he is. He's going to be great. He's going to be
he
great.
it's like Solo is a bit reserved at times in the
Yeah,
sense that it's his character. It's sort of I'm going to play out something quickly in my head, then do
yeah.
something. Whereas Tamatonga's just got just like fuck my brain.
Oh, he just sees red. Yeah,
I'm just gonna eat
and
whatever
I
in
love
front of
that
me.
when Kevin Owens attacked him backstage. Because you saw poor Heyman. Poor Heyman heard Kevin Owens running. He was like, nope. He ducked out of there straight away. He was like, no, I'm gone. And he started attacking. He started attacking Tamatunga, and Tamatunga was literally screaming at him. Ah! You can just like it's just a wild brawl. And I
Yeah.
think Backlash that's going to be a great tag match to
Oh,
watch because you've got
100%.
it's definitely going to be good. All four of them, I think, can bring the chemistry, and I think he's had a good push, and I think Tamatunga will go on to good things. And the fact that they got him in the bloodline I think is great because although he's not directly related, he,
But he's still part of
he's
that.
there within that he's there within that Samoan dynasty.
Yeah. And so the question to you then, who wins that match? How do you see this plan? Because the thing is, if the
Yeah,
bloodline lose this match, they're not feared.
it fucks the bloodline. No,
Exactly.
I mean the bloodline have to win if they want to carry on this story. Then Solo has to get a much needed win, and Tamatanga get a debut win because let's face it,
Yeah.
this is going to be his proper in-ring debut. Because as of now, he hasn't had any in-ring competition in WWE.
No.
He's been there as the MFT. He's been attacking, backstage, and he's been there with Solo and showing a great presence. But I feel as much as I want RKO wins to win, I do feel that, like you say, if they let slip and RKO win, it's not going to be
It
the same
kills it.
bloodline. They're not going to be looked upon the same. Yeah,
No, that's so, yeah, because
I feel that too.
they need the only way they can lose this match. and then still be feared is if Jacob Fatu interferes in this match and then they just literally annihilate
What?
RKO in that
Yeah,
way.
when has he come in? I'm so excited to see him come.
And then
When is
obviously
it happening?
there's more of them. They're then obviously
Yeah.
RKO. They've just absolutely brutalised Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, laying flat. Like all of a sudden, yeah, they've lost the match,
I think
but
so.
they're
I think like you
feared.
say, that's the only way the only way they can lose is if they're adding to the family and they're adding more bloodline, like you say, like Jacob. But then if you look at it in another sense, another person that's just been drafted makes sense only because they're related. In another storyline, maybe not so much. But Nia Jax, she's related to The Rock and Roman Reigns and the Fatus. So, as a female heel, she could always be brought in, similar to obviously Rhea Ripley being brought into the Judgment Day. But I would see, I would completely agree with you that if they win, I would just see that Jacob Fatu just makes his surprise
It's
and he
it,
just comes and they just annihilate them post match.
yeah. It's the only way they can lose this
Yeah.
match is if they win,
And
but lose by
remain strong.
disqualification, and yeah, they are just
Absolutely. Yeah.
they're ripping apart. There's
Yeah.
two people. Like,
I completely agree with you.
if you've literally ripped apart those two superstars, that's showing big dominance because they are two big
Yeah.
players within the whole locker room. It's not like
If they win the
you're beating
match
on
and
Pretty
it's
Deadly.
desecration, yeah. I mean, if they dominate Randy and KO, then everybody has to fear the bloodline because Randy is, multiple time world tag team champion and world champion. He is up there with the best, and
Yeah,
everybody loves Randy, whether he's a heel or not. He is loved by everybody. And like you say, he's a massive player, so is Kevin Owens. If you can take two out on their own, let alone as a team, then there is reason for the other teams to go, oh shit, okay, Bloodline are still a faction to be reckoned with. Absolutely.
100%. And yeah, it's just yeah. On that though, off topic slightly, but still on the bloodline. Do you miss Roman Reigns? Because I've seen this pop up a lot now, and I saw
A lot
something
of people are having Roman withdrawal
that
symptoms, yeah.
Rikishi come out
Um,
and he said how huge it's been within the universe that all of a sudden Roman's been gone and now everyone wants him back. Whereas before it was sort of
Void isn't there.
we don't want
It was a
him,
case of
move on.
we don't want him here because he's here, but he's not here. But now we want him back because we're missing him. And let's face it, nobody at this moment in time knows how long he's going to be gone for.
I've always been a
We
Roman
don't know
guy.
how long
I've
he's going to be for.
I've loved him even before this championship run, but I loved him since the Shield days. He was my favourite in the Shield. He
Yeah.
was always my
I mean,
favourite. Like,
do I miss
and
him? Yes.
yeah, not
I mean,
seeing him
in the
there.
simple answer, yes, I miss him. I don't want him back just yet. I think it'd be too soon. I know
Mm.
obviously he's got a lot of personal things going on.
Well,
I
not
believe
in
he's
person
still.
anyway. Just a presence of
Yeah,
a message or
he just,
something. That
yeah.
Heyman
I mean,
delivers a message from Roman
yeah, exactly,
to Solo, or
exactly. I mean,
just twist the
and
knife a
that's
little
what
bit.
needs to happen right now. That's what needs to happen with the
Mm.
fact that Solo is taking over slowly. He's bringing Tamatonga. He's saying, get me KO, and he's causing chaos. Something from Roman needs to be said,
Which could
even if it
be
is, my name is Paul Heyman, and I'm delivering a message from the tribal chief Roman Reigns. That Solo, or whatever that message is, something needs to be there just to remind us and to remind Solo that he's
where he
watching,
stands.
he's
Yeah,
paying attention. Exactly.
but yeah, that could be a whole point after Backlash, the first SmackDown back. Obviously,
If he,
they've
if he,
recruited a new member,
it,
they're showing more dominance, and then all of a sudden a message from
yeah,
Roman appears, and then you've obviously still got Jimmy. Like, we don't know the status of Jimmy at the moment.
I have got a sneaking suspicion Jimmy's coming back at Backlash.
Could be
I've got a
another,
sneaking suspicion he's going to try and get involved, and he's going to sneak attack Tamatonga
or
and Solo.
does he try and help his brother win the title, even though we know that Priest is probably going to hold that title for a while? But
Well,
does it bring the
that being
Usos back
said,
together? And then there's a
I mean,
whole
tag team
build up
division.
towards
Why?
just
Why the hell not? Would you? Why would you not right now? The tag team division. I mean, there's some great tag teams in there, but like you say, there is something lacking in the tag team division, and the Usos. with the presence of New Day as well, two legendary teams, the longest reigning tag team champions in history, the Usos, would be incredible to put back together.
But at the
But
same
does
time,
that then take away from the big moment that Jay's
yeah,
potentially
I
got
was
ahead of
about
him?
to say I love Jay on his own at this point because not only is he getting more and more love from the fans, he's proving that he can do this solo, and his promos
Yeah,
are, are brilliant. Like they're just
he is fantastic.
like they're working into his character. They can be funny, and he can play himself now.
Yeah,
Whereas before, obviously, he had to be so serious. But he always broke character. Whereas now,
he always
if he
his
breaks
character. Yeah,
character, it works because the promo has been
it's
made to
him.
be a
He's
bit
spooky.
funny.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
him. Like the whole
Yeah,
with the
but
whole
that's what you want. I mean, it's
Finn
like, it's,
and Logan Paul,
yeah.
weren't it? And obviously they
Well, so
sucker
this is what I
punch
wanted to touch
JD.
on as well. This is what I wanted to touch on now. You know, Judgment Day's poor judgment was what I titled this segment on my list of talk stuff. Poor judgment. I mean, I get why they're joining forces with Logan Paul, but it proved wrong for them. Obviously, look at JD, took those 3 Super Bowl rings to the head.
Like,
Um,
the bruise on his face,
oh,
though.
with the welt on his
Jesus
face. I know.
Christ!
I mean, that's either a damn good fucking makeup artist or Logan Paul did properly sucker punch that man.
Like, but it's just so funny that the person that's destroying the Judgment Day is the worst one in the Judgment Day.
Well, bear in mind, when he first came to Judgment Day, Priest didn't want him around. Priest was really reluctant, and then eventually he was like, "Well, I got you this briefcase. It's a senior money in the bank," and he was like, "Okay, I'm warming towards this guy a bit now." Um, and now, yeah, I mean, look what happened. He came to push Jay Uso off the off the top turnbuckle. Damian Priest was like, no, and then it ended up in super kick after super kick,
Yeah,
and then a frog splash. And Jay Uso's team. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved Jay Uso. I love the fact that he got the win. But why Ricochet and Andrade? Of all the people you
Andrade.
could have teamed him with,
But then if you look at the history over the last few weeks, Andrade obviously mugged the Judgment Day off by not
mm,
signing with them. Ricochet's literally had their number since day one.
yeah, I suppose when you look at it like that, maybe
Like
I'm just looking
it
at it
was
from a
just.
superficial
Whereas if
standpoint. Yeah,
you just picked random superstars with Jay, like
yeah.
say you just
No,
put
I get
a
it.
Drew
I
Mac,
totally
well,
get
and
it from
then
that
Drew
perspective.
McIntyre would make sense to be honest. Obviously with the Priest, but and then yeah, just right, say
Yeah,
random. Like if they put the Imperium against
then
them, it
they
just wouldn't make
didn't.
sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. When you look at it from that standpoint, so obviously I was just looking at it from a superficial point. But yeah, when you go into depth about it a bit more, then obviously it makes more sense.
But yeah, it's just
Um,
again it was a good match. Don't get me
I
wrong.
don't. I really want Jay to win, but I don't see them having Priest drop the title just yet.
No, he's just
Too soon.
Priest. Priest to me could be someone that holds the title for a good
Yeah.
9 to 12 months.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Which is why I think it's too soon. I think he'll have a great match with Jay. I think
Yeah,
they'll tear the roof off between the two of them. But I just don't see it. I don't see it happening as much as I want it to. As much as I'd love for main event Jay to walk out and have bloody yeet sides, yeet side panels on the title. After Backlash, it'd be incredible. I just think it's too soon.
mm.
And the same with Sammy. Going back to that match, I think it's too soon that Sammy drops the championship
Yeah. I can't
after
see
WrestleMania.
any title changes at
No,
Backlash, but
I don't think so.
you can.
One championship's going to change. The Kabuki Warriors, I think, will
Oh,
drop the
actually,
championship
yeah,
to Bianca and Jade,
yeah. I
the
think
female tag team.
I
That's the only titles I
what.
see changing hand.
But then what is the point in the women's tag titles? Like they just there's no the teams are weak as they are. These are probably the only two teams worthy of going up against each
Well, this
other.
is the thing, and the teams change constantly. If you look at Natalia, she's been paired with everybody who is anybody inside the tag team division for the women's tag team just to make a tag team. You got Maxine and Ivy Nile. They've now been split because Alpha Academy. Oh, hold on, Alpha Academy. Are they staying on Raw? Or are they gone SmackDown? I can't remember.
No, they all went to Raw. They all stayed together, didn't they?
So Ivy Nile and Maxine will likely stay together because the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile have stayed on are on Raw as well. So it's likely that they might keep Ivy Nile and Maxine together. It doesn't work as a team for me at all. I don't understand it. But yeah, the women's tag division is,
But
I mean,
and
it's just that,
also
isn't it? It's just a
Jade
mess.
and Bianca, they're not tag team specialists. They're solo. They're like
Yeah.
Jade can easily go on
But
to world championship
this is what we
status,
discussed.
and Bianca's
This is what
always
we
going to
discussed
be in
last
and
week.
around.
Yeah. But this is a good way to get Jade to win her first title, establish her to a degree as championship pedigree in the WWE. They'll hold it for a few months. They'll lose it to a tag team. I would say the way that things are going at the moment with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell would end up winning the championship at some point in the future because they're pushing her as a big heel right now.
Yes, and they just will get these smaller tag teams or like these
Mm.
lesser divas, like the ones that obviously they're not pushing to championship status. Let just
Yeah,
give the titles and let them all fight amongst each other. Like
no,
make make them
but this
feel
is what I
like they
mean.
can then project themselves better. Where instead
Yeah.
of letting Jade and Bianca walk around for months with it for
I
pointless
think
reasons.
I think they should ditch the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, and have them defended tri-brand against all three brands: NXT, Raw, and SmackDown.
Yeah,
Why have the NXT Women's Championship? Just get a decent team, push them, and have them featured on every brand. Because we all know that being that they are the only tag team, they are the only championships that can go across brand.
yeah. Which
Everything else
again,
stays where it is.
just again, that just didn't make sense. The fact that you're protecting everyone else, but then
Yeah,
you're not protecting the women's tag team
exactly.
champions. So
But then they
how
were
does that
drafted
balance out?
as a team of three anyway with Dakota Kai. Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't really make sense. But then the other thing, speaking of the draft, sorry to bring it back up, LWO. Carlito was pictured with the LWO still in the draft post attack to Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee after Santos Escobar outed him last week on SmackDown. But yet he's still being drafted to Raw with the LWO. What's going on there? That's either a continuity problem, or we've all of us as fans have completely missed the boat on what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, again, it just didn't make sense. Obviously, you can, yeah, because you're going to see Ray and Carlito now. That's them two rivals. Like, but why is Carlito
Yeah,
still? Well, I suppose up until that point, he's got to be in the LWO picture. But I don't know. It's a weird one. But
but why is he being drafted with LWO? That's the thing. I mean, I know they haven't had a segment yet to discuss what's
officially kick
happened
him
and
out or
why.
whatever. I suppose he is still
Exactly.
part of
But
them, so he goes with them.
I want a heel turn Carlito. I want Carlito's 2004 music. I want Carlito to spit apples in the face of people. This is the Carlito I think everybody wants.
Well, I
Everybody
mean,
that remembers Carlito loves that Carlito.
the video that was shown was pure Carlito in he'd done the damage and then he was like,
Yeah,
right, I'm gonna walk out the door, walk back in. Oh my god,
and
what's
pretend it
happened?
never happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly,
and then in the background when he's watching it,
exactly
he's
that.
like, like he's got that
Oh
perfect
shit, I
clueless
forgot.
face on again,
Yeah,
and then just
exactly. Don't know what to do. And he
shoves
just pushes
Dragon
him and then
Lee
runs.
and runs
And runs.
off.
Yeah. And
And
and Rey Mysterio is just like, what the hell's going on? I've been screwed over for the
again,
7,000th time in my career. Because how
Ray's
many times is Ray going to get screwed? Let's face it,
it
he's been
seems to
screwed by
be
everybody that he teamed up with.
he gets put in a decent little faction or a decent tag team,
Yeah.
and then that guy has had enough of him after a little while. But when you look back at it, he's done nothing wrong. Like he
No, he's
literally
not.
has done nothing wrong. He's never
I
he
know
doesn't.
Ray. I mean, Ray is one of the goats. He is genuinely one of the goated wrestlers ever.
But
The best wrestler,
it was a good little
one of
build
them
up
ever.
though. Like within that
Yeah.
whole bit, because obviously
I think
Dragon Lee getting attacked, and then all of a sudden he's drafted in Andrade,
again,
and
this is what I'm saying. If you look at the draft, that's another thing people were saying on the picture of Carlito being drafted with LWO. Dragon Lee's not in the picture of LWO. They seem to forget that Dragon Lee's even in existence. Carlito's just been betrayed them but he gets drafted with them, and Dragon Lee's just left to hang it out to dry. He's just like, "Yeah, we don't care about Dragon Lee. We'll hang him out on his own."
It's just, yeah, I like it though. It's a nice little mini rivalry, a little blast from the past segment, there could be a few matches of him and Ray going up
Yeah.
against each other, and it,
Then where do they push him from there though? After that, what do they do then?
like, yeah, did you ever see Carlito back in the Intercontinental frame? Ray in that
Or
frame?
United States? This United States Championship. I mean, Ray, yeah, I do. Ray is easily. I mean, even with his age, he's easily still in that spot where he could run. I mean, look, he only lost the United States champion a short while ago to Logan Paul.
So
There's no reason that he
is this
shouldn't
another
have that
push for him?
spotlight again.
But and then there's potential there, obviously being on the same brand as his son now. Is there more rivalries coming back into that?
I fucking hope so. I hope so. I
With
hope
the
he
Judgment
snags that
Day
shit.
possibly disbanding, where does that leave Dom?
Judgment Day are going to implode. Let's face it, they're going to implode
Will he grovel back
while
to his dad?
Vince is there.
Like, you just
I
don't
don't
know
think
with
so.
Dom
I'd like
because
to
he's a
see
little
them.
weasel.
I'd like to see, yeah, yeah, and he looks like one at the moment, especially with that fucking porn tash. He looks
Uh,
like he's just walked out of a '70s film studio in the back
the
package
new
of a photo.
attire. It's just
Uh,
he's literally trying to be every little
but
bit of mummy that he could be.
I know, but now he's going to be out for up to 9 months because he's having that what they call it, Tommy something surgery on his shoulder. So so he's going to be out for some time as well.
So yeah, we're like, yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of potential mixes now with these factions all disbanding or imploding
Mm.
within on themselves. But yeah,
I
where does
mean,
this leave a lot of them?
it's going to be interesting to see what happens this week on Friday because obviously that's the first show post draft.
Yeah,
So
because
let's
they
see what happens
reckon
there. And obviously,
there could be a
Backlash
few
is
more
not far
trades,
away as
didn't
well.
they? In between
Do
before
we?
Friday, yeah, they reckon a
Mm.
couple of
Well, I mean,
trades are going to
there's been a
happen.
lot of trades that haven't. Yeah, there's been a lot of trades that obviously haven't taken place on the TV, and
So
they've posted on the likes of Instagram and every other social media you can think of.
there's potential there of I wouldn't say a major shock, but maybe a little shock of someone going elsewhere. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But
I honestly don't know.
I'll tell you what, because I said about it earlier, where I randomly wrote LOL on my sheet next to a talking
Yeah,
point, Bron Breakker tearing Cedric in half.
I wanted to
Genuinely.
talk about this. It says my little bullet point says Bron breaks Cedric.
I've got the
Yeah, I
exact
mean,
same words with LOL next to it.
lol.
Because
Um, I mean, he deserves a good push. I think he's going to do great. Are they going to push him for the IC Championship? Are they going to push him towards World Heavyweight Championship? Is
I
yet to
think
be
he
seen.
skips the IC and I think he gets put straight in that heavyweight frame,
I mean,
personally.
he should. I think he's a dominant character that goes up there. Has he proven that he deserves it? Maybe he hasn't done enough time on the main roster yet, but I think he's definitely a character that is worth being up that upper end of the roster for sure.
He's got so
But I
much,
want to see him have longer matches.
yeah, that on
I mean,
massively because
he ripped, like you say, he completely broke Cedric in half. The week before that, he completely tore apart Cameron Grimes. And it's just over I want to see him have a, I don't know, 10, 12-minute match. I'd love to see him now he's there. I'd love to see him against someone a little bit higher up that isn't quite at the the heavyweight title caliber. Someone, do you know who'd be a good test for him? Actually, I say not quite at world heavyweight title. That's disrespectful to this next name I'm going to bring up. But one person I'd love to see him go against that would really test his metal is Finn Balor.
that would be a great match, yeah. Because
I
that's
think that'd be a
someone
really good match.
with that much in-ring experience that
Yeah,
and a former world champion, and
exactly.
he knows what it's all about to come
Yeah,
from NXT and
and
up.
if he could pick up the win over Finn, that's a huge step. It's no different to LA Knight beating AJ Styles. It's a huge step. because AJ Styles has been doing it for decades, and yes, so is LA Knight, but LA Knight is relatively new in the sense to WWE. He's only been there for a few years,
Mm.
and a lot of people forget LA Knight was before he did that bloody Max Dupree, Maxine's brother, with fucking Maximum Male Models. Before he ditched that and came back as LA Knight, and he started to really get a spring in his step. But yeah, I think if he could get it, even if he lost against Finn, just the showing that those two would put on, I
Give a
think would
big
just
match, a nice
solidify.
10 minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
But that
10-minute main event one Monday night,
that spear is
or
just
even 15.
insane. Honestly, like
Yeah.
it's just
Okay, so here's an age-old question. Then you bring that up, but my question is to you: favorite spear of all time?
I knew this was
You've
coming
got
up.
to look at who does the spear, and then you got to look at, at the impact that they have.
It's just, oh my god, there's 2 minutes. There's just like
There's so many.
I still think Prime Edge Spear is my favourite, just because of the whole. There was always a build up to it. It was like he was just that fury, that anger of I'm going to win this match right now, and this is all my
He
energy
can pull
going
it out
into
there,
this.
and he's in the corner, and yeah,
Whereas obviously Goldberg's spear was he's just him and like Bron Breakker. It's the powerhouse spear. Yeah, it's a beast of a spear, but Edge is just
but
meant something. And obviously
edges did
Rhinos,
mean something. Yeah. Oh, the gore. Yeah.
the gore, it's the same. It's tearing people, and obviously Roman's just got better and better as time went on.
But again, look over the 5 years, Roman's got bigger and bigger. He's a fucking tank.
So
The guy
he's
is
just.
just massive.
But yeah, for me, Edge is it. Edge.
Edgehead.
How
Yeah.
about what are you saying then? What's your
It's a tough one because I grew up loving Goldberg. For the most part of the Monday Night Wars, I didn't, like I said last week, I didn't have access directly to WWE, so I spent my Monday nights 3 o'clock in the morning, 13 years old, not going to sleep and watching WCW Nitro. And I grew up loving Goldberg. He was just I don't know why. I know there's a lot of controversy about Goldberg. He was quite dangerous in a lot of ways, and the more you look at it and some of the stuff that he's done over the past, yeah, he was quite dangerous, but he's still. I mean, I do agree. My favorite spear is Goldberg, but I agree that the best spear is Edge.
yeah, and yeah, just going on to Bron though as well, like that he's got to me Brock Lesnar vibes in that when Brock come onto the scene, he's young, he's hungry, he's a feared man, and this is why I
He's
think
a Paul Heyman.
he's just gonna skip
Yeah,
the Intercontinental United States
I think, and you could
titles
well be right. I
and jump
mean,
straight in because why would you
yeah,
not want someone of that presence in that big heavyweight
and you like you
frame?
say, you look at his frame. He's so strong. He's young, but it's not just his speed for a man that size. And people say it about Brock Lesnar, but his speed. You see the speed and tenacity he launches himself at to hit that spear in some cases. It is insane. It's got to be like being hit by a fucking car.
It's the straps as well. It's when the straps come down. There's only certain
Yeah,
superstars that can pull it off, and he is in that category of
yeah.
when they come down. That's he's turned on, like
So
he is ready to go.
who pulls their straps down but doesn't do it for you? Like when they pull them down, but you're like, okay, that was the least impactful thing I've
All right,
seen.
I'm just hoping that
That
Bronson
was
Reed
that
never
was
does
very
it.
anti-climax. I mean, why not? I mean, I think they'd have to go R-rated if Bronson Reed did it.
Yeah, you'd
They would at
see
least
you'd
have
see
to
the old
wear a bra.
raw stickers come up on the old nipples when that comes down.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
But speaking
But
of
yeah, I mean, like you
speaking of
say, there's
big men taking their straps down, Braun Strowman is back.
he is back. I
And
was
I am super hyped for it because everything on him has changed. He's brought back new attire. He's had his haircut, which obviously he had
yeah,
just before the show. And
he did.
he
I
looks
saw that.
like he
Yeah,
come back from through that. As soon as his music dropped and you saw him, the monster of men is back.
yeah,
Like he had that about him, the whole I am just here to rip you up. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just here to be feared again.
But so who's he going after? Because obviously he
This is an
came out to
interesting
save Jay,
question.
but there's a multitude of possibilities. Does he go after Finn? Does he go after Priest because he's the World Heavyweight Championship? Or are they going to push him as Logan's next opponent for the US title?
And then on the other side of it, are they just bringing him back to be feared again because obviously the Wyatt Six? Is he just going to, like,
I
I'm
hope
just happy
this.
he's
I
back.
really want to see this happen. I
And
really, I'm happy. He's back. I love Braun Strowman. I hope they can instill the fear into his character that they once did.
I think they
Because when
can,
he
though.
first debuted, it's going to be a hard push. I think you might be right. I think they can, and I think they will. But I think it's going to take a bit of time because, for me, just with all those back and forth matches with Roman years ago, and then he started losing to the odd smaller guy. It took away that monster among men mentality. You know, when he showed up, like when he first showed up to go against like John Cena, when he was wearing the black sheep mask and
Mm,
stuff, and it was just like, who the fuck is this guy? This guy is massive. He's going to take on anyone. You know, he was lifting up the Big Show. He was lifting up Mark Henry. He was giving Brock Lesnar a run for his money, strength wise, and you know, and it was just okay. Okay, if you can shift guys like that around that easily, you are a guy to be feared. I just don't. I mean, he got smaller size wise. Okay, that happens. I understand that. But yeah, it just the whole demeanor around him died, and I really want to see it come back.
yeah, I agree. But I feel that we're going to see the best of him again. I mean, you don't bring him out, and then to make it even sweeter for him is the fact that he went face to face with Patrick Mahomes in his hometown, like in his home, for obviously being Kansas
Yeah,
City's number one guy, quarterback, GOAT. He's a legend within the NFL, and obviously he's helped Logan Paul out by giving him the Super Bowl rings. But
yeah.
Braun going eye to eye with him as if like I'm ready to do it, and then you got Jay coming on. No, 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 big man, no, big man.
No,
You've just
crazy.
you've put
It's
him in that
crazy. There's not
frame
many.
of he doesn't care about a crowd reaction no more. He's just out to
That's what you
stop
want.
people from doing things,
Yeah,
and that's what I
that's what
fear
you
they
want.
feel they're going to install back into him.
But I just think now because obviously we've got Backlash this weekend, so
Early start, don't forget,
yeah,
six
because obviously
p.m.
they're only an hour ahead of us in France. Yeah, it just where do they go with him from there? Are the Judgment Day going to get involved with Priest and Jay? Does he then come and help? It's going to be interesting to see where they go. Um, the other person that I'm really interested to see, which I mentioned earlier, is Dragunov. I love that man. I know he's small in stature, but he's big in character. He's big in
He's
everything.
got in-ring
And
presence though. Like he's got a lot of it in that ring. He's very
I want to
technical.
see him win titles. I really want to see him pushed. Really, just my opinion. Obviously, they you know they do what they want. It's their company, but I would love to see him get a really good push.
It's another one that he'll probably go into that IC category. He won't skip a beat and
Yeah,
go to over like I feel Phil Bron does. But
yeah.
Dragunov's got
And that's
that
going to be interesting because
aura of an
obviously there's
IC
history
champion
there with
about
him
him,
and
though.
yeah, and there's history there between him and Bron. He was, if I remember rightly, he was the one to dethrone Bron on his streak as the NXT champion, and you know brought him to his knees and that. So that's going to be good to see.
Definitely. And yeah, it's obviously going to Backlash, and then you've got that potential triple threat of for the IC title, or is it just a one on one? Like, what are we going to get?
I think it's got to be a triple threat. I think after Monday, I think that's the only way they can play it because now Bronson Reed's got anger against Gable.
But is there going to
Gable's
be
angry
more
against.
anger if Bronson's omitted from it and it's a one on one? Does it make Bronson a bit
and
more
leads on to a further storyline. Yeah, I mean, again, that makes sense as
like
well.
there's
The
potential
options there, isn't it?
because obviously if they do that for this title, it's the same as what they've done for the women's title, where obviously you had the number one contender match, Tiff versus Naomi, and it was a no
Yeah,
contest because Nia decided just to want to brutalize both of them for no reason whatsoever.
as well as Bailey.
Just
She just annihilated Bailey.
yeah, just
She's just like, I'm taking you with me before I go to SmackDown.
it just I don't know. She's just annoying Nia at the moment. I don't know because I don't know what her plan is.
I
She's here,
don't
she's
like
there,
Nia. I
but
don't like Nia, and it's still to this day. I know I know I went on about it last week, and I'm going to continue to fucking go on about it. Why get rid of someone like Dolph Ziggler and fucking bring back someone as useless as Nia?
because what was on Raw when she's all of a sudden coming down and when Becky and Liv are going off on each other, which I enjoyed that segment. It was a very interesting one, but she basically just eliminated Becky from that picture because it was to get
Yeah.
her and Liv. And
Oh yeah, because she's
as
like
much as
Liv just stepped up. Yeah.
Liv's still I need like she's still growing on me. I'm not her biggest fan, but the fact
Mm.
that she took
Well,
Nia Jax out within that promo and then obviously took her on, I
yeah,
loved it because anyone that weighs in on Nia Jax, I'm a big fan favourite of that.
yeah. Oh no, I agree. Um, I love Liv. You know, I've made no
The
bones
revenge
about
tour is
this in
in
the
full
past.
swing.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here to see where it goes. I'm hoping eventually it'll end up with her holding the championship. It's quite a controversial opinion. I mean, I spoke to someone in our Discord server the other day. Well, I say I spoke to them. He dropped a message saying she should 100% never be near the championship.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Um, yeah. I mean, I totally disagree. I'm here for it. I think she'll make a good champion. Will she be a long reigning champion? I don't know. I think they'll bring her back, give her the title for a few months, and then out of nowhere, Mummy's going to come back, and then it's going to be a case of okay, it's Mummy 1 and Mummy 2, and who the fuck's going to step up?
Yeah, I
And of course,
mean,
it has to be at that point, in my opinion, it has to be Rhea, right?
yeah, no doubt about it. She is destined to be the best women's champion,
Yeah. I mean,
greatest
the
women's
women's
champion out
division,
there,
she's only been gone what, a week, 2 weeks at most,
and she's
and the
missed
women's division
massively.
already feels empty
Just
to a
her
degree. And that's
presence.
horrible to say because there's an amazing array of talent in the women's division.
But again, it
But
comes
it's like
down to
Roman, the men's
presence.
division feels like it's missing something. Exactly, is that presence.
It's not,
She doesn't even have to fight.
no, yeah, it's not all down to in-ring ability and
Yeah,
all of it's just the presence of a certain person.
yeah, exactly.
You
I
need
mean,
them
even if she
there.
doesn't say anything, her entrance, just her music alone, and it's the same with Roman. Longest entrance I've ever seen. I fucking hate it. But just that classic harmonizing and the beat of the tribal chiefs music, just he's just like he's here, and people pay attention to what's happening next.
Yeah, literally. And yeah, we need something. And yeah, with them two gone at this present time, it's difficult because obviously we want every superstar there. We want every superstar's presence
Mm.
within wherever they are. And
There's one
obviously,
superstar that I love the fact that he's continuously present even though he's out injured, and that's CM Punk. Love him or hate him,
what a
CM Punk is
segment.
pure entertainment.
What a
On the
segment.
mic,
Him and Drew.
and he said it himself. Yeah, and he said it himself on the mic, on commentary, in the ring. I am the best in the world, and
And
on the mic, he is one of the very best. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
what a way to bring that promo out though, with him doing the
Yeah,
classic, I'm sitting in the middle of the ring, legs crossed,
yeah,
and he's looking obviously to at the point of where he
to
needs to
Drew.
look
But you got to bear in mind that promo started with Punk up in that section,
because Drew was
and
going
Drew was on
looking
the, and
for
he
him.
said, "I'm here, you bitch." He said, "I'm here,"
Oh,
and then
but
he comes down and he's like, "Look." And that is a feud I cannot wait to get
it's
underway.
just it
As
adds
soon as and
so
Punk said it
much.
himself. Yeah,
Just
absolutely. And
Drew's
Drew
jealousy
McIntyre is doing his best work.
is
He's
excellent.
doing his best work. Yeah. And Punk fucked him over at WrestleMania. This is going to
Well, he
be
fucked him over in
the
the number one
rivalry.
contenders match.
Yeah,
Done it
exactly. It's going
again.
to be the rivalry of the year. For
And
me, I think that if they push it right,
Drew's now signed his new deal. Obviously, he got like
yeah,
you've seen the video of him getting presented the
I
sword,
did,
the
yeah,
Rock, man of his word, the final boss,
yeah.
and and going on this. Drew obviously signed a new deal. You've seen it a lot now. The top superstars are actually wanting to stay. They're not unhappy at this
Well,
current.
another one that signed and put on their Instagram. After all these years, I would love to thank everybody at the WWE for everything and say that I am going fucking nowhere. Is Finn, and that makes me happy because I love that man.
He
Heel
had a
or
lot
not,
of
he is
people
a
going
great
with that
talent.
though. The way that he
Yeah.
managed to style
Oh, of
that
course you would. You
text out,
start that off. Yeah. You
where
start that off, you're thinking, no,
yeah, and
no
the
way.
picture that
Surely
he
that's
put
not happening.
was perfect of him
Yeah,
trying to bait everyone into thinking that he's
I know.
going somewhere.
Very cleverly done and fair play to him. But yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that he has signed. But like you say, more importantly, when you go back on that, people want to sign.
Mm.
People are happy to make sure I'm staying. This is where I want to be. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't want to think about going to New Japan or IGWP or whatever it is, IWGP, TNA. I don't want to go to A&E, AEW. I don't want to go anywhere like this. I'm staying put right here. This is where I belong, and this is where I'm happy.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, going on the Drew Punk segment, I just it's a perfect rivalry. It's got
Yeah,
so much to it. Drew is just the perfect guy at the moment. Like to me, he's probably one of the best superstars at this present moment in what he's doing, where he's going.
yeah, and he's loving it. You
He's
can tell that he's genuinely enjoying what he's doing,
he's
and
he doesn't
like we
care that he
touched on
lost the
last week,
title within
no,
5 minutes, and the fact that
when you see
they're playing
somebody
on that
enjoying what they're doing, you enjoy watching it, and you're like, "Oh my god, yes, I need to watch this. I want to see what happens with Drew and CM Punk. I want to see what happens with Drew and anybody he's aligned with. Just want to see it."
because obviously last week you had him and Sheamus with like a bit of tension, and then all of a sudden it's like
Mm,
straight onto Punk because it's just jealousy, pure obsession and
yeah,
jealousy to one guy, and it's eating at him. It's eating him so much that
yeah,
he just
you can
can't
see
let
it.
it go
And Punk is the perfect person
to
to just
piss him right off.
piss him right off. Yeah, just to touch the even if it's just stroke the button, doesn't have to push it. Just strokes it, and Drew loses his
And
shit,
then you've
and
got him
that's
at the
why it works so well.
end of his speech, just turning his back to him with obviously best in
Yeah.
the world on this t-shirt. Drew looking
That's
down.
what I was going to say. That's his 2011 shirt. So 13 years later, he's revived that shirt, and I love that.
It's yeah, it's just building to what we want to see, a rivalry
Well,
that
and if you look at
it
yeah,
doesn't have
and
to
if you
be
look at
about a
CM
belt
Punk as well, no, it doesn't, and that's what you want. You can understand that when a title is involved or a belt is involved, that there is an end goal. People want to go and get that championship. That's understandable. Fine, work your ass off towards it. But I love the fact that this, like you said, this is just heated by war jealousy, and is CM Punk for me is like Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy pokes at everybody. You know what I'm talking about, being a football fan. Jamie Vardy is a fucker, and he is just wild. And Punk is the same. He's just a misfit, and he touches everything that he knows is going to piss you off because he wants a reaction. But more importantly, he is going to get the reaction,
yeah.
and that's why it works. Because there's some people who go, "Oh fuck off, I'm not doing it." But I think Drew, even though a lot of it's storyline, I think Drew genuinely wants to give a reaction as well.
You can see from his
I think
face,
that's
can't you?
why it works. Yeah,
He's just like, yeah, he's just so straight faced. But the way that he just didn't move in that promo, though, he was just stood there in the spotlight, listening to Punk's less than 5 minute rant that he said he was going to give because he's going to make it was as short as Drew's title reign. Like they're just playing on everything. They are just
but you know
again,
that
they're not bothered.
Drew's going to bring up at some point CM Punk's UFC shot, UFC
Oh,
match in his
and
career.
I think
But Punk's just going to laugh it off.
that's what I mean. And yeah, I can see it as the way that because Punk seems happy, so he'll be happy to
Yeah,
play that segment. He will not care if he's going to shoot the shot. He's got to be ready to take the shot
yeah,
because Drew can give
exactly
as
that.
good as he gets. Like,
But that's why I love it so much because it's banter between mates, but on a completely separate. I mean, they may hate each other outside of the work. You know, they might genuinely fucking hate each other, but it's like when you have banter with your mates, you can see they're happy doing it, and that's like you say. There are a lot of people now that are a lot happier in WWE,
but they're
and
happy
I
to,
love to see that.
even if they are, they're happy to put it aside
Yeah,
for work. The same with Seth and
yeah,
Punk. You know, there's
yeah.
hatred there, but in the
But they
ring,
love the business.
the way that their promos were kicking off, they're happy to
Yeah,
do this back and they're happy to do it for the love of the
yeah,
business.
exactly.
They're not,
But and the great thing is if you don't push it too far, you can get the best promos out of the fact that you genuinely hate each other
yeah,
because you can put it across as genuine, but you're not overstepping the boundary for the sake of the audience and TV rights
or personal
and
gain.
the yeah and the criteria that you have to meet for for the television purposes. But that's all going to go out the window next year. What's going to happen when it goes live on Netflix? Because that's going to be unadulterated, unfiltered. I mean,
Um, yeah, that is going to
I can't wait.
be it's blood central, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
in certain areas of the field. Like, you could see the proper use of weapons coming back into it more, which I'm
I
all for
fucking
because I've missed all that stupid shit.
I don't. Yeah, the one thing that I never liked, even as a kid, when I was a youngster watching it on a Saturday, because I used to watch it on Sky One to recap the week on a Saturday. Um, it's when they freeze the frame on a chair shot, or
Yeah,
they turn the frame to the audience and then cut back, and it's just like, but you kept the sound in there,
yeah,
and you
that
kept the
was just
commentators going,
like,
"Oh my gosh!" Yeah,
but yeah,
it's
you
just like,
froze
just
the
show
shot
me it. Come
like
on.
that.
Yeah, just I wanna see someone hit with a chair, thank you. I mean, for those of you that know me and watch me stream, I like it. I know it's only a video game, but I wanna see people go for a fucking table. I wanna see someone thrown through the top of the head
I want
themselves.
the
That's
trash
what it's
can to
about
hit
for me.
someone in the head. Like,
Yes. I want someone to coast a trash can in the face like Shane did to Vince.
so on that note, though, with going back to Netflix, do they bring back the
Yeah.
hardcore title? Will
So
we
it's
ever
funny
see
you
that?
mention it's funny you mention this. I watched a bit of a hardcore match yesterday, and it was because Matt Hardy tweeted it posted an Instagram video, and it was him going up against Jeff Hardy, and it was when when Crash Holly and everyone integrated into the match, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm taking this win," and then he ran off with it. I'd love to see a hardcore championship back. I want to see fucking Woods.
It was just, it wasn't even a gimmick of a title, though. This is the thing. It was, for what it could have been, like a hardcore title, it can switch hands at any given moment. You could be sleeping in your
Yeah,
bed and you could get pinned and lose the title. That's what that was what the hardcore title was. But
yeah, you
it
could be
was never
pinned in the back
played
seat of your car.
in a stupid gimmicky way. You had a
No,
certain few
which would, but the
parts where,
24/7 championship was.
oh, that was just
That
atrocious.
was just. I mean, we look at our truth. Our truth. I think I'd have to Google it, but I think he's something like the 50 something time
Yeah.
24/7
I'm sure it
champ.
was 47 times, I think, the
Something
last
like
time I
that,
see
yeah.
something
I mean,
about it.
it's stupidly high up there.
But
But yeah, that was a gimmick title. But yeah, I mean,
the
if they brought
hardcore
back a
title was,
championship like that,
it was a brutal title. It was only the
yeah, of course it was.
only brutal superstars would go. Like,
Well,
the
see,
fact that it was in a WrestleMania match, like it
yeah,
made it to WrestleMania stage, and it was a good match. That, don't get me
exactly.
wrong, like, and you had Kane, Big Show, and Raven. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but it can't be a gimmick title if you're putting a triple threat with Kane and Big Show in there, ready to give all. A Kane, a hardcore.
exactly. But not just that. If you just even without the hardcore title in the picture, if you look back on the matches that we had in those days, you were getting pay-per-view style matches on a Friday night SmackDown or a
Mm.
Monday night Raw or even on a Wednesday main event. And it was every week in, week out, you were getting Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, the Hardy brothers versus
We had
Team
hardcore.
3D
Holly
versus Edge and
was
Christian.
pure
Yeah,
hardcore.
exactly.
Steve
Oh, he was just
Blackman
a
rolling.
savage.
If you went back a bit further,
Oh, Steve Blackman was a legend,
like
and he'd still kick most of our asses
people that
today.
were brutal, but that was the only title
Yeah,
that fit their character. But they were happy for it to fit their
yeah,
character because they
absolutely.
could put on the best match that they could possibly put on.
But yeah, I miss one person walking down into the ring, waiting for the champion to come down, and then the champion's coming down. Like the Sandman used to come down with a trolley or a shopping cart with kendo sticks, stop signs, baseball bats, trash cans, and just filled the shopping cart with every bloody thing that he could find in the back,
Yeah,
fire extinguishers. And okay, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. This is just going to be a match that I want to see. Just the sight of Sandman or anybody walking down with that hardcore championship and a shopping trolley full of weapons. You're like, okay, this is going to be it. This is going to
just
be awesome.
yeah. Even hardcore matches in general, when they were called hardcore matches, just how
It hit different than Extreme Rules, I think.
yeah, it was just because
The hardcore name just hits different than
you knew
Extreme
that
Rules.
all these different styles of because it wasn't your typical one-on-one fight. Like they had to change how they fought in these matches. They had to
Yeah,
change
because like you said, it was open challenge to everybody. Even if you were in a one-on-one match initially, it didn't mean that 10 people couldn't come down and jack your shit in the middle
exactly,
of a
and
fight
the
and start. Yeah,
all the different types of work. Like you've got the baseball bat with a barbed wire on. You had the pins. You had obviously glass. You had the sledgehammers, the
thumbtacks,
chairs. The
light bulbs. Oh
just barbed
yeah,
wire was just the most brutal part of a hardcore match, in my opinion. The way that it was used
yeah.
a lot of the time, and then
And you look at and you say about like hardcore matches. Look back at Randy Orton versus Mankind, the tables and the thumbtacks and the barbed wire wrapped around the baseball bat, and
Edge
just
versus
you got
Mankind,
people. Yeah,
or sorry, Mick
you got
Foley.
people step up. You got people step up into the hardcore division that I never would have expected Matt Hardy to be hardcore champion, but there he is bringing trolleys down and he's fighting his own brother for the title. And then like Crash Holly, when would you ever think Crash Holly is going to be a hardcore champion for God's sake? But you got people step up that brought their A game and were like, right, we're going for this, and they put on a match every time.
And yeah, they
So yeah, in short, without waffling too much, I don't know how they'd work it nowadays, but I'd love to see a hardcore championship back if they did it right.
yeah, and I would as well, which why obviously I brought the question up because I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that if you're going to make that move to Netflix and you've already started to bring back the trash, like the not like you've skipped PG now, you're bringing back the brutal trash talks, you're bringing
yeah.
back the more personal promos, you're bringing back the blood.
Which they've already started.
So why are you not going to look into a future endeavor of a hardcore? It's not going to be the hardcore title,
I'd
we know
love
that,
to.
but you're going to have something.
Please, please, please.
You could have something
Have
similar.
Cody bring back the Winged Eagle belt, chuck out the current WWE belt, and they bring that back battered like they did with the original Winged Eagle with the hard, like Mick Foley did, put the hardcore across it. Be amazing. It'd be a reversal, wouldn't it? Because they'd
Mm,
be getting the Winged Eagle back, which is an iconic championship, and for me, it's the best championship other than the big gold.
yeah,
That I want to see Cody bring that back. I mean, don't forget it was Cody that originally brought back the original IC, the older IC title. So if he does it again, that'd be amazing.
it would be nice. Yeah, just not obviously go back to WWF. You're never
Yeah,
going to go back to that, but
no.
start to make it your own. Like, obviously, we've already got rid of the trash at the top. You've
Yeah.
started integrating in old school titles in how they look,
Hmm.
and obviously, given that
They
you've
look
changed the
they
names
look
back,
more lineage, don't they? Yeah.
you've changed the names again to starting to bring back the old school feel. So
Yeah,
start to do new things, test the waters a bit more. Like
I think so.
now, there is no time like the present to do it when you're starting to change characters into heels, into faces, and go
I
for
would
it.
like to bring up one thing when we're talking about titles. What on earth is the WWE Speed Championship? Where the hell has this come from? I mean, I'll be honest, I've not seen anything about it. I've not watched any of WWE Speed. All I saw was Ricochet is crowned the inaugural WWE Speed Champion. I'm like, what
The
the?
title looks disgusting. I'm not going to lie. I've seen the,
Do you
the
know what it looks
the
like?
title.
If you look at Global Force Wrestling, which was the company that took over Impact TNA, they made a GWF, a GFW title, and it looks shit. And that's what the Speed Championship reminds me of.
I, I understand. I get what they're trying to do with speed. They're trying to give certain superstars a bit more of a platform to, because
Mm.
like Ricochet when he beat JD, and then he's coming out
Yeah,
of it going, "This is my stage. This is what I was meant for. This is it's built for these sorts of people just to make them the best of what they can be without getting sucked in or swallowed up in the whole Raw and SmackDown locker room
yeah.
of the bigger superstars. Like I get what
Just
and they're quicker matches. It's literally 3 minute matches. Like it's all
is that where the name Speed comes from?
yeah, it's all fast paced.
It's all has to be under 5 matches, like under 5 minutes or something, does it? That's
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. But
and
yeah, the championship. I can't see an official image of it, but it looks horrible
yeah, from what I've seen,
from
it
what I can
just
see. From the snippet of Ricochet wearing it in the screenshot, it it's really. I mean, they're trying to almost like replicate not the winged eagle, but the one that Austin would have held.
yeah, but they've just ruined it though. They've not.
It's just got one big word, speed, across the
That's the
middle. It's
thing.
just
I
like,
think that's
what
what
are you
ruins it.
doing?
Just
Yeah,
leave speed off it. Just put champion or make speed really
or just
small.
don't just don't have it at all because it's shit and worthless.
But it's one of
Or
those.
just
It's because
stop wasting money.
it's streamed on
Bring back a
YouTube, isn't
hardcore
it?
championship instead. Just bring back a hardcore championship instead.
It's
And
streamed
have the
on
hardcore
YouTube.
championship.
I think it's more. It's a get kids. It's one of those get kids into wrestling. It's
Yeah.
because you're not going to
A
get
platform. We'll put it on a platform that you don't need to pay to watch it. So,
yeah
i.e., WWE Network or Peacock or or Sky Sports or anything like that. Yeah.
yeah. It's that's what it is for me. I don't mind the quick matches if you're putting the right superstars up against each other.
I mean, JD and Ricochet kind of makes sense. They're two smaller guys. They're fast paced. They could,
Obviously, you had
especially Ricochet.
Johnny Gargano in the tournament.
Yeah,
You had
works. Yeah.
Dragon Lee was obviously in the tournament. You had Bronson
So it's
Reed in
it's
there, which
kind
was
of
really
all.
weird.
I was going to say, was Bronson Reed in there?
Yeah.
That makes. I mean, I was going to say it's almost sounding like until you mentioned Bronson, I was like, it's almost sounding kind of like 205 live vibes. Like this is a cruiserweight
Mm.
championship sort of thing,
But
and
yeah,
you're
you
just
had
narrowing it down to the small guys because they've got a faster pace about them.
but yeah, he was in it. But yeah, it was a bit strange. It was just
Yeah,
like
it's a bit odd, isn't
we
it?
need a ringer. Everyone else here is quick, small, cruiserweight, and then we'll just yeah, let's just throw in a big guy.
We'll throw in a 300 odd pounder just to make it look like it's that much more prestigious because it's harder for them to get past him.
Yeah, I just
That's almost what it's like. It's I would love to know whose idea it was for WWE Speed.
that's
Was
all I
this
can
someone
think of.
higher up in TKO or
It's just one of those. It's a pre-show of like I don't even know what I say pre-show of what I have no idea, but it's like a
I was
pre.
going to say, so when is this defended? Are they going to is Ricochet going to defend this like as a pre-show, a pre-match to Backlash, or
It's like every
what
Wednesday,
happens?
isn't
How
it?
does that work?
It's
Is it
but and then
every
it's on a
Wednesday?
platform, like we say, it's on YouTube. Kids are always on YouTube. It's focused
Yeah,
towards them because
yeah.
it's quick, easy. It's
And
sort of
Ricochet is a good face for kids to get into watching wrestling.
yeah.
I mean, that's a shadow of a doubt. He does, without a shadow of a doubt, he's a great wrestler. He's a great character overall, and he's got that superhero presence about him in the fact that he's quick. He can do all these high flying moves. I mean, I know when I was a
He's
kid, I was
exciting.
certainly more gravitated. Yeah, and I was more gravitated when I was watching WCW to the likes of like Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Juventud Guerrera, because they were all I resonated with them because I was a smaller kid and I was fast, and if I was ever going to be a wrestler, that would have been me. I would have
Mm,
been the guy that's flying around off a top turnbuckle and trying to do hurricanranas and shit.
yeah, it would have been. I always wish I could have done something like that, but I was more built for a Mick Foley type of role.
You were the festively plump kid.
Yeah,
You were the
many
one that
alter
was
egos.
Doughball Dan. I'm going to change your name on MCWA to Doughball Dan. Oh my god. Uh, that's proper tickled me now. The chuckle triplet Doughball.
Got me. Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
my goodness.
But oh yeah, I always wanted to be a high flyer or a Kane, an Undertaker. But no,
Yeah.
I was stuck with the sock for more than one reason.
We won't go into the alternate reason. Maybe that's for a different conversation on a different podcast, I
I
think.
mean, the rock and sock. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the rock and sock connection. I'd speaking of the sock, the fucking Santino Morello and the Cobra, that always tickled me. I love that man. Santino Morello is just one of those guys that makes me laugh. I watched the segment actually. I know we don't really discuss it here, but I watched the segment on TNA where I can't remember. Matt Hardy's come back to TNA because he is a free agent, so he's
He's not officially
currently
signed, has
back
he?
on
Because
his. He's not officially signed. No,
I've
he's a
got.
free agent still. He's
I don't know if you see the latest Uncle Howdy teaser,
well,
uh,
yeah, because obviously he was teamed with Bray Wyatt
but
for a
it's not
moment, wasn't
that.
he? So he could
In the
well be.
picture, obviously they flickered to a television screen, and across it,
Hmm.
it come up in white writing, broken, and then it would flicker
Yeah,
off,
so
flicker back on as
I think
broken.
they're just saying, look, we're not going to bring you back just yet. Go and do your thing. Keep
Mm.
active in the ring. We're not going to stop you. When the time is right, we'll bring you back.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
I
that's
don't know.
probably what they're going to do.
But it obviously that when you
And what
see
opposed to
that,
get to
it makes you
yeah,
think, well, broken is there's only one
well,
person who's
exactly.
broken, and that was Matt
Yeah,
Hardy. It was, and obviously Bray always he brought that character to life a lot for Matt as well.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I mean, Matt, I don't know, Matt smashed that character when he was at TNA. You know, and that's why WWE re-signed him because they brought him back as the Woken one
Mm.
because obviously they couldn't use the Broken one at the time because of trademark with TNA. But yeah, so I saw a segment with him and Santino. Santino Morello is over there as like some point of authority. He walks around wearing his sheriff's badge, and I'm thinking you're over at TNA and your daughter's over at NXT. I think I know where I'd rather be personally.
But yeah, speaking of old segments, one that keeps popping up on my timeline, and it touches on what you spoke about last week with people trying to break the Undertaker, the Stone
Oh
Cold
yeah,
segment, where you've got Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Kane. I can't remember who, Chris Jericho, when Vince is talking to him, and Stone
right.
Cold is repeating everything Vince is saying, but emphasizing every word. And then you've got, you can see, like, he's ready every now and then he's just doing this.
Yeah,
He's holding his face, or he's got to do this, or he looks away at a certain point
a lot
because,
of people that came close for
and
sure.
there's one moment in it though that makes you laugh is when Vince says, I can't remember what he says, and Stone Cold then says yes and slaps Taker on the chest, and then obviously Taker gives that look of, and he's like,
He's probably
uh,
more in shock.
no,
Like,
not
what
this,
the
and then
fuck are you doing?
he slaps Kurt Angle right around the chest and goes, yeah, this guy. And it was when Kurt Angle had hair as well, which makes it even
Yeah. Oh
stems
god,
back to how old that segment was.
that's
But
proper retro. That is. Yeah, absolutely. I
yeah,
love watching characters break, and there are some characters that like my favorite of all time, and I did mention it last week, and I went back and watched it because I loved it so much. But my favorite is when Santino makes Sheamus break because he's talking about the fact that he's got no pigmentation and that he's like as pale as a ghost, and then says, "How do you like your coffee, milky?" And he's like, "No, no, no, there's nothing to do with the color of your skin."
he's just got to
And
love
I think,
those though. It's you
yeah,
want to see, you got to just
I think
push
so.
the boundaries. Like they got to test each other. You're having fun at work, for God's sake.
It's going to be interesting to see what they can get away with next year because, like we said last week, the whole thing with like Hornswoggle and Little People Court, they wouldn't get away with that now. There's too many people, and like I said last week, the people that get overly sensitive about issues are the people that it's not even. towards. You
Yep.
know, like you've seen so many social experiments where there's a guy walking around dressed in a poncho and a sombrero with a mustache pretending to be Mexican, and it's all liberal white people, leftists that are getting offended, but yet they walk through little Mexico in that town, and all the Mexicans are like, "Hey, I love the fact that you're celebrating my culture. It looks amazing on you. Come and have a drink with us."
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
So
and this is why I
it'd be
feel
interesting to see how far they can push.
I think they could push it far though because Netflix just don't give a fuck. They really
Netflix is like
don't.
Channel 4 of the streaming world, isn't it? That's what I loved about Channel 4 growing up is they didn't care. You could watch anything you wanted to watch on Channel 4 that you could never watch on the
They still
BBC.
don't. They still don't.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah, exactly.
So that's why, yeah, and
Exactly.
I hope that obviously in time, if this does work, which I'm really praying it does, is that SmackDown then gets pushed over and moved over because obviously they're on different contracts, aren't
Yeah.
they? Of
Because yeah, exactly. Because you've got SmackDown. What SmackDown's on the USA network, is it, at the moment,
yeah,
or through
and obviously
ESPN?
Wars with Peacock,
Um, Rules for Peacock until January of next year, and that's going to come around sooner than we think. I mean, hell, we're already in May, for God's sake. It's already the 1st of May now.
and it'd be
So
interesting that how they how will they do the pay-per-views as well? Obviously, if you've got WWE Network, then you're fine because
yeah,
I can't see
but
them ever taking it off of
that's why
that
they don't call them pay-per-views anymore, isn't it? They call it That's why they call them PLEs.
or
I
even
mean,
that. But will Netflix start
it
to
could
show
be
them?
that they I don't know, because obviously at the moment it's only Raw, so it could be that they have an exclusive contract where you can pay a bit extra on Netflix. Maybe they have a payment link like they would anywhere else,
Hmm.
or maybe it's exclusive to the WWE network. It would definitely be interesting to see where they go with the PLE side, as to whether Netflix will have rights to stream them live or not.
Because your first one will be the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, which is obviously a massive one. But again, this year's Royal Rumble, I was not happy with. I was very
It
disappointed
was very
with the.
underwhelming.
Yeah, it was underwhelming. Yeah, and you build up that hype every year because you know you're on the road to WrestleMania. You expect all these big surprises, like maybe a new superstar. I
Mm.
mean, like look at AJ Styles when AJ Styles came in, to the pop that he got
Yeah,
when it came up on the screen saying "I am phenomenal." Everybody in the wrestling world knew what was happening, and everybody shat themselves with excitement, apart from Roman Reigns.
yeah. Roman.
Um,
That's the
Roman looked like
one of the
fuck.
last times I've ever
I'm
seen
about
him
to have my
feared.
yeah,
I have
exactly.
fear in his face.
Um, and even like old school returns, I didn't.
It's randoms,
The
yeah.
one surprise, I think, the one surprise that I saw this year was Jordan Grace, the TNA Women's Champion, and Naomi. I loved the fact that Naomi came back. I really enjoyed that she was back.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
like
yeah,
Naomi. I don't think like she's ever going to win gold at this point at this moment in time. I think
well, I
she's
mean, she's a former women's champion in WWE, and she was the TNA champion. The Jordan Grace who came down to surprise us in the Royal Rumble from TNA
mm,
dethroned Naomi. She was the one who beat Naomi before she came back to WWE.
but
Um,
I
but
personally
I
think Tiff is gonna be champion soon.
she
I don't know.
does my head in.
I
She's
don't
just a
know.
cheap version of Carmella.
I
She
just think she's
really
got
is just
more
a
about her in
knockoff
the
of
ring though.
Carmella.
I
She
think sh
she's certainly got more of a ring presence, and talent wise, she offers more than a lot. But character wise, I don't like her. I don't.
I d-
She's just a typical bitchy heel, and I think we've had too many of them, and she doesn't offer anything different other than that. Whereas Rhea as a heel, Rhea offers that whole bad girl presence, and I will fucking whip your heart out. Tiffy's just like, she's the sort of girl that reminds me of the girls from Mean Girls, where she'll just go back home and write a story about you in her journal and hope that it doesn't get read out to show that she's actually a bitch because she's moaned about your nose job even though she's had 10 herself.
I just don't know. I like I like the way she plays it though. To me, because I like the whole. She's a spoiled brat. She deserves everything. Like no matter Like, no matter even if she's lost 10 matches in a row, she still feels she's owed something and she'll do anything to put herself in the
Solo,
picture.
solo squat, solo squat.
But yeah, she's
Hasn't won
just,
in 40 matches and still thinks he's
I
overdue.
just, again, because it comes back to that whole within the championship, she's a bitch, she's a brat. She'll do the championship
Yeah,
justice in she won't just want to go and be everyone's friend and be pally
I mean,
pally.
so
She'll go and be a prick to
yeah, I
everyone.
mean,
She'll gloat about it.
speaking about that, what when Becky came out on Monday before Liv came out, what were your thoughts on just Becky in general being I don't know if it's me and because we don't get amped up because you're not in that atmosphere. Watching it on the TV is a lot different to seeing it in person.
Hmm.
But for me, the crowds at the moment just seem like they're not into certain superstars. Becky being one of them, actually. I didn't get that feeling watching it that the crowd were all that into her promo and all that excited about it.
I don't think they are anymore because I think, like, when we go back to it, the whole Battle Royale was lazy. It was obvious.
Mm,
She's a safe play. Like, I personally don't mind that they went that safe because she's probably got the best, she's the best one out of the bunch to be champion at this present time, whilst
yeah,
you
I agree.
feel the void for Rhea. But yeah, at the same time, I think, like, what we've been touching on is where we've put this bar so high,
Yeah,
the fact now that you've got another champion and all she's coming out and doing is promos, it's got boring already. It's
yeah.
we don't want that. We
Becomes
just
stagnant and stale straight away,
like
isn't it?
I don't know like when you look at it like Rhea, even though she done a lot more promos after being champion, her
Mhm.
promos were meaningful, but they always
Yeah.
ended in a little scuffle somewhere or the fact she's calling
Or it
someone out
leads to.
ready for something.
Yeah, it leads
Whereas
to a fight. And
same
that's the
with
thing, and I
Romans
think
as well though.
Bayley
It was always they had meaning to them. They were
yeah,
exciting to listen to. Like you could feel what he felt giving that promo. Whereas, yeah, Becky's are
I think
just
that's the thing.
they're a bit. It was just it was lucky that Liv come out when she did. To be honest with you, she
Yeah.
did
I mean, the
save.
bar has been set so high, like you say. You know, we've been very fortunate that with Roman and Seth actually as well on the man's side, Roman, Seth, and Rhea as champions, that the bar has been set so high because these people have been so great in that position that automatically anybody underneath or anybody that steps up in that position instantly becomes lackluster. And it's not because it's them, it's just it's such hard shoes to fill. And you
It's
know, like we said earlier, it's about giving it time. But for me, Becky is the safe bet, but Becky is also Becky. She's been in that title picture again and again and again
it's
and
like
again, and it's
Charlotte
gone to the
Flair,
point
wasn't
where
it?
it's like, yeah, exactly. It's come to a point of right, okay, when are we going to see someone new? And I do like that about Tiffy. I do like the fact that she's being pushed and elevated up against Naomi, and she's in that picture with Naomi and Bailey. Um, Bailey for me excites me as a champion because straight away she wants to go out and find a number one contender. She knows who she wants it to be, but she's also respectful of the fact that Tiffy comes out and Naomi's like, well, no, I've got to beat this bitch to
Hmm.
earn the title shot because she's stepping up. Um,
But then it
whereas, yeah, like you
goes.
say with Becky,
It proves my point that the women's division is weak, which is why they're
yeah,
having to
it
do
is.
this. But at the same time, the fact that you've had to force
Yeah.
Becky upon us, which is unfortunate because you wanted to see
Hmm.
because she put on a great match against Rhea at WrestleMania. Like they gave
Yeah.
everything. It was a great match again, and then at the unfortunate turn of obviously Rhea becomes injured, and now it's do we do we
She
give
looks fine in her Instagram post, just saying.
do we
She
give
doesn't
it
look like she's
to
got
a random? Not saying obviously you know what I mean by a
no.
random. Do we
Yeah, yeah.
give
I
someone
know
a
who you mean.
shot,
I mean,
or
the only other choice,
do
we
we give
discussed
it
this before, the only
do we
yeah.
give it to Becky's the proven a proven champion and
Yeah.
she's the best one to fill the boots, but the crowd,
And the only other
we're not going
choice
to take
was
to
Liv
it.
Morgan. Yeah, and the only other choice was Liv Morgan, and the crowd would have taken to it, but
Maybe
then
Liv
again,
takes it
it
off
would
of
have just.
Becky straight away.
I think she does. I don't know if she'll do it straight away, but I think she takes it from her. Um, and it makes sense that she does. But like I said, it has you have to see out this revenge tour. You can't just give it to Becky to give it to Liv and go, oh, Mummy stepped down. We're going to give it to Liv. No, it doesn't work like that. I totally agree that Becky was the right choice.
But
For the
yeah,
meantime,
I just want to go back to. I just wanted to go back to the old school of champions were always fighting week in, week out, no matter what
yeah.
championship belt you held. You was
Which
always
is why you can't deny
in a
Cody as a
match,
champion. I mean, again, a great champion. He's going to be amazing. He's wrestling every week, and I love that. So is Damian Priest. But
but
again, Bailey, Becky, haven't seen them wrestle every week
which goes back
since they
to
won the
because even
championship.
before, like when you had the women's championship, like Trish was always fighting week out, like Mickey was
Yep,
always fighting week in, week out. No matter like China, no
in the
matter who
hardcore
held that
company. Yeah,
title, they would constantly just be in a match, even if it was just an easy win. They were
doesn't have to be.
wrestling,
It doesn't even have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a championship match.
but it, like
Just people that could
any
match your
level,
caliber.
at any level,
Yeah,
they were just
exactly.
yeah, they would cut a promo mid show, but at the end of the
And
show,
that's the
they
thing.
were always in the main event because
And
they were the great
that's
they were the
why
big
for
champion
me, Logan Paul now needs to lose the United States Championship. I
or
mean,
become
I
full
totally
time.
agree. Yeah, or become full time. And this is what I said to you last
Maybe
week. I
this was his
totally agree
stepping
that he
stone.
should.
Put him on Raw, put
Yeah,
him in front of everyone on the bigger brand,
maybe.
give him his
I mean,
moment.
but the fact, yeah, but again, does that? Why have we got two mid card championships on one show? The United States should either be, or the Intercontinental Championship should be opposing. You should have one on SmackDown, one on Raw.
Yeah, it was.
I don't.
But I think Logan was more there. Obviously, he'd done the draft and he brought out Speed, which was hilarious because
Mm.
that made me laugh when they were ready to. Logan was ready to give a whole big speech, and then Speed comes straight in. So SmackDown chooses, and then Logan's just like, and the
Yeah.
Speed's cracking up. I just thought, yeah, all right, that's hilarious. And then,
And I think it's a
but
very clever business decision to have those both in there because they've both got hell of a huge audience outside of WWE. So they
Logan,
bring multiple eyes.
he riles the crowd up. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah,
He
he
just
does.
walks out, and they're
No,
like, they're riled, they're ready,
no,
they're
it's
pumped,
great.
like,
Yeah,
and he cuts great promos by just ripping
and he's
into
good
him.
in the ring. He's good in the ring. He's got such a great
Gives a
in-ring
good graft to
ability.
the business, and but it was
Yeah,
a lot of there was a lot of controversy around. Obviously, he turned Patrick Mahomes heel, didn't he? Which
yeah,
didn't go down too well
no.
because obviously, if you're the hometown guy, you're always the
hmm
face.
I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that conversation as to Logan saying, right, okay, I want you to give me your rings
Mm,
and I'm going to smack someone with them, and it's going to be, everybody's going to see you hand me these rings, and you're going to know what's happening. But yeah, you're the hometown hero, and this isn't going to be such a heroic
moment
act.
for you. It's yeah. Which
Yeah,
were they just giving us a little taste of there's no limits to what we're going to push out? Which okay,
potentially.
if we're going to do that, go for it.
Yeah,
See where your boundaries are. Push the boat out a bit more. Let's do it more because it worked. Because it worked.
yeah,
It fit around Logan Paul's character. It fit around what the whole segment was at that point. And
absolutely. Yeah,
obviously
that's
knocking
exactly
going
right.
back to it, but knocking JD out was just great to see. And the fact that
Oh, yeah, I know
it
it.
was the
So
face,
satisfying to see it.
it was the camera angle of Logan's face, Finn's face, and then you just see Jay pop up like, oh, oh.
Oh shit! It's like last week when he super kicked Priest because JD got involved, and Jay's just looking down at Priest, going, "My bad, Oos, my bad." It's just
But
like, I
it
loved it.
was I
Jay is
loved
just a character.
I loved the stab from Logan about Jay that he's only got two words in his vocabulary, and that's yeet
Yeah,
and
and
oos.
Oos.
And then he was like,
Yeah,
but I am the original yeet. So he's like taking everything, he's sucking
Yeah,
everything out of Jay and saying, like, he's just saying, this is my stage. So I want to see him full time. And I think with that full time comes more wrestling from him.
yeah.
But
I think
obviously,
so. I think certainly
he's
if he was
obviously
full
tied
time,
up
he'd be
in
wrestling most weeks.
other
I mean,
stuff,
he's got a
boxing.
multi-billion dollar business with Prime, and and he's got his YouTube, and he runs. I think last time I checked, it was like the most successful podcast,
Yeah,
in history, pretty much, with Impulsive on YouTube and stuff like that. So, you can see that he's tied up with a lot going on. I mean, for someone his age to be so young and have so much shit going on and be so successful, good on you. And he does bring a lot of attention to the product. But I think he either needs to go full time, and if he can't for any reason, then
he
he
has
needs
to
to get
drop
to
the
a point where he's
title.
going to drop the championship. Yeah, he's got to drop it to
Yeah,
somebody that can wrestle full time and can have that title presence every week, even if it's not defended every week. At least have it present every week.
yeah, it's yeah, definitely. You just want to see it, and then you want to see, obviously, like we go back to it, you want to see
Yeah,
that champion in action. The
absolutely, you
title
do. Yeah,
doesn't,
of
like I say, the
course.
title doesn't have to be on the line week in, week out. You just want to
No,
see
absolutely.
you just want to see that superstar prove why they are a champion.
Yeah,
You've got that belt for a
that's
reason.
it.
We're not just giving you the gold and then you piss off for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, the reason you've got the gold is because you have to prove why you are who you are, why you got it.
Well, that's what that's why it's called a title, right? Because you've earned a title. Obviously, you get a belt with that, but you earn a title of the champion, the world heavyweight champion, or whatever champion it may be. And like you say, in relation to that, it's you got to defend that shit.
Mm, definitely.
You
You
know.
don't.
So I saw a meme the other day actually that says, "I think everybody that brings replica titles to a live wrestling event should be prepared to defend them."
Oh my God, I've seen that, and
Because
I'm
if
all
you're
for
bringing that
that.
shit to if you're bringing that shit to a wrestling event, you want to be prepared to defend it to show that you deserve it.
If you want that gold on your shoulder, prove to me why that's
Exactly.
on your
You better,
shoulder,
yeah,
or I'm taking it.
exactly that, mate. Exactly. I mean, hey, listen, I'm 37. I'm out of shape. I'll step into a ring. I was still sprightly enough in my mind that I could get it done for 2 minutes. Just put me in a 2 minute squash match. I'll take a spear from Braun Breaker. I'll quite happily do it.
Oh
Just
yeah, anyone that's walking past me with that championship gold, I'm throwing down.
Well, this is the thing. Even Miz, I saw a video on Instagram, and Miz's daughters love his new
Oh
championship. They
yeah,
said that's
I
their
love
favorite.
his little
Yeah,
rack that he's got
she's
up
got
for
like
all
a
these
whole.
titles.
Exactly, that's it. So they were putting it on there. They said we want to go right at the top, and she said, "But I'm taking this one. You're gonna have to get another one." And he said, "Well, if you're taking it, you got to defend it with our truth."
Did you did you see when obviously they had the original titles before obviously they changed, and he went and put it in that
Yeah,
rack. And this is how bad these titles were. Every title stands up in that rack, doesn't it? If you strap
yeah,
it up properly. This one didn't. It just kept collapsing because the
yeah.
level was just so
And the same
cheap.
with the IC. His IC title like leans to one side and buckles in a bit. But I did notice that's probably why the Raw one wasn't in this video I watched, because that's probably why. Because I
Yeah,
saw that he had the original bronze and black one, the blue and silver one from Raw.
they've just
I hate those titles. I'm so glad they've gone.
they're just vile. They're just so
And
they're
they were
just so
all
out of
Velcro
character.
straps as well. We used to have these pop buttons on the back for a champion to unpop them, rip them apart, put them on their shoulder. These were Velcro. You could hear them undoing it in the microphone. It's just cheap shit.
Yeah, you just don't want they
So glad they've ditched those.
and they're silver as well. That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah,
Why is you call it championship gold, but yet you're repping silver? What's that all about?
exactly. If you're referring to it as gold, then yeah, make it gold.
Yeah, again,
That's
it's
exactly right.
another weird ass move from this era that we've finally stepped out of,
Yeah,
and we're starting to push
but
behind us.
no matter how no matter how many downsides we may personally think there are, and that's what this is. I do want to state that this is just as two mates that are passionate about wrestling. This is just our opinions.
Pure opinion.
Um,
Like
yeah, it's just pure
I'm happy
opinions and
for
speculation.
anyone to want to have a little debate, a little chat, like a little.
Absolutely. If you wanna tell us we're wrong and
I'm
why
never
we're wrong and tell us
taking.
that we're fuck nuggets.
I'm never throwing shade
No,
towards anything. I'm just putting
No,
everywhere.
absolutely not.
You've all got your own
Well,
opinion. You've all got your favorite wrestler. You've all got
yeah,
your favorite
and that's what this
brand.
that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about having a friendly discussion, and if we don't agree on something, it's about having a debate about it and not getting into an argument. You can have a conversation, go, well, actually, I don't agree with you. This is why, and I think this person would be better suited. But I think for the most part, you and I are we're quite on the same level and tend to have a relatively similar opinion. Um, but yeah, I do. That's all it is. It's just us having fun. It is just an opinion.
There was one on YouTube on one of the comments regarding the whole, obviously what we thought about when the Shield music hit. We was all thinking Moxley,
John
Ambrose
Moxley will never come back. No,
coming,
I don't think
and
he ever will.
obviously someone commented like putting saying about hell will freeze over before he comes back. I was like,
Hell froze
that's
over
like
and Punk came back.
it's like obviously we just all thought at that moment
I mean, you
he's
can't.
coming, and then obviously we got in like there was just a little. It was like yeah, like we just agreed
Yeah,
with what we were saying, and it was like, but at the end of the day, Moxley's happy where he is.
yeah,
That's
he is.
all you
Yeah,
want to see. You want to see the professional
yeah,
wrestler happy in what they're doing, and if
exactly. And that's the
he's
thing.
happy.
I
Like
won't take anything away from Mox because
all we
Mox,
wanted to
wherever
say
he
was,
goes,
if that Shield music drops, and with what's going on at WrestleMania at that point,
you never
anything
know.
could have happened. But I
You
love. Did you see
never
what Moxley
fucking
put
know.
out? He come out with a comment about it, didn't he? Commented on it,
Oh, did he? What did? No, I didn't see this. What did he say? Why have I not
and
seen this?
because obviously people were saying like, "Oh, where was you? Where was you?" in at this moment, and he was just like, "I was in Japan and I was asleep." In my
Fair
head,
play to him.
I
I
was like,
mean,
your brother's getting
I mean,
smacked in the back by a
like I
chair,
was
but
saying, yeah.
you're snoring your head off. How funny!
I mean,
Excellent.
like I said, for the most part, we all know that it's very unlikely it was ever going to happen,
Oh, but at that
and we
moment,
all know that But at that moment,
the excitement you're in with what
WWE.
you're watching,
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, and this is what I was going to say. No matter what event it is, if you build into the story and you read into the story, and you look at all the history as a fan and what you would want to happen,
exactly.
you can get drawn into that hype. And just for that moment, just for
Mm,
that brief moment, your dream could come true.
exactly.
Like with
That's
the whole
all
thing
it
with
was.
Sammy beating Roman, when it came down to Sammy fighting Roman for the title, everybody, not I don't think a lot of people knew it was going to happen, that Roman was going to continue. I think we all deep down knew that was going to be the outcome even before, but you wanted so desperately for Sammy to walk away the champion because you got in that hype, you got in that belief, and you're like, can you imagine the uproar, the pop, how this is going to react? And that's for me is exactly it with Moxley, the Moxley situation. If he come back, I've seen some amazing pops in my time watching wrestling that you can remember, and I just think it would be up there with one of, if not the best pops that you would ever see.
Yeah.
And to see that and just to witness it, even over a screen, I would be dumbfounded and just forever grateful as a wrestling fan. Will it ever happen? Fuck no. I'll die
You don't
before it
know what's
happens,
round
more
the
than
corner though.
likely. No, you don't. That's the thing. They're bringing people in from TNA. And at first, I thought with Mickey James when they brought her to the Rumble that okay, it made sense. Mickey James has got a long-standing history with WWE, multiple-time women's champion. But then they did it with Jordan Grace, who's never had a title that I know of had ties with WWE. So they are overstepping that
Mm.
boundary, and they are starting to stitch some of the roads together in some ways. So you really genuinely don't know what could happen.
Of course you don't. It's always exciting when an unexpected turn take like that happens.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's great. It's just a great time in pro wrestling on all fronts. To be honest with you,
yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean,
like the
like you say,
surprises
just want to
here
see
and
them
there,
happy. Yeah, God, yeah,
like
absolutely.
can't knock it at all. Pro wrestling is cool again.
And that's what I was going to say. That no matter during these episodes of us talking, I might say, "Oh, well, I don't like this, I don't like that," but let me just reiterate that I fucking love pro wrestling. I am a wrestling fan through and through. I have been since I was a kid, 30 odd years ago. God, that's scary to say, but 30 odd years ago when I started watching it, I am a wrestling fan. And things are being done right. There is a lot more being done right than there is wrong. It's just I like to highlight the discrepancies because I like to have a debate, and and as fans, that's what we do. We like to think that we know better than the producers when we fucking don't.
Of course we don't. Like,
We just love to get our opinion out there. Exactly.
but why can't we dream? Why
Exactly.
can't we have that dream
You can
match?
dream.
Why can't why can't
Exactly.
I see John Cena win another world title?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we
I
should
just want
just
it
purely
just one more
because.
time, please.
Yeah, well, there's three people that I want to see win a title one more time before they retire, and I think they wholeheartedly, respectfully deserve it. And from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely hope it happens. One is John Cena because I do think John Cena as a 17-time champion would be amazing, and to outdo Ric Flair. Not that I don't love Ric Flair, I love Ric
Nah,
Flair. He's genuinely
but
one of
records are there
the
to be
best
broken no
ever.
matter what.
And the other two that need a title run before they retire is Randy Orton and AJ Styles.
Yeah, Randy, I'd love to see just add to that
Randy, I want to see
collection.
have another title run, and AJ Styles has already said that he has only got a couple of other years. And what a man at the age that he is now to still be wrestling the way that he is. I mean, I saw somebody on Instagram say that AJ Styles is the most overrated wrestler today. And every comment in relation to his to response to that, there was over 200 responses, and all of them just simply said,
Like,
basically, you are not a wrestling fan. You're a casual,
yeah,
and you are not a true wrestling fan. Go back to 1990. Go back to when
TNA
he was
AJ
in
Styles
TNA
was
at his peak.
incredible.
TNA AJ Styles was unstoppable and should have been in WWE from the get go.
Like,
It is
yeah, just yeah, I just don't. Some of them, yeah, just a bit too casual, and it's always they just only want to go with the popular. They don't
yeah,
see anything else. It's like, yeah, oh, this person's really popular, so they must have everything.
yeah, exactly that.
Like, yeah, they've always
But
just been a Goliath fan. That's it. It's never about David in those
no,
situations.
and that was the stigma that Vince brought into it, was that he was always a Goliath fan. He always wanted the big man. He always wanted, and that's why a lot of I mean, look at Pac or Neville, as you might know him. I know you're not a massive fan of AEW, but like Pac, the bastard, is amazing.
Mm,
He's done such great work, and his character is so good, and he's an angry Geordie, which makes it fucking brilliant.
yeah,
He's a genuine angry Geordie. If they had run that character in WWE longer, I think he would have just been brilliant.
yeah.
But he's doing well in AEW and he's happy there, so good on him. I'm happy for him for that. But I think WWE dropped the ball on him, and part of it was because Vince McMahon likes the bigger people. But now that's gone. Hopefully, you are going to see
Yeah,
less of that
balance, a
stigma.
better balance in
Yeah, and a good balance at that as well.
like
I mean, you
don't
look at AEW; they've got a good balance. Like Orange Cassidy just looks like your regular guy next door. He's a skinny guy with jeans and ginger hair and sunglasses.
but yeah,
You would
don't
look
get
at
me
him and think,
wrong.
well, this guy's a pro wrestler.
You want those matches where like a big guy comes out and just rips everyone to
Yeah,
shreds in a ring. Like you're going to get those moments, and if you don't
yeah,
get
of
them too
course.
often, it's perfect. It's like, for
Yeah,
instance, like Braun Strowman coming down and just making his presence
prime
known of
example. Yeah,
big guy in this ring right now, and or even
and that's a good
Omos.
equalizer as well, because that's a great equalizer for the Judgment Day. Because Damien Priest is a bit like Drew McIntyre.
Mm,
You see him, you realize he's big, but you don't realize how big he is.
nah,
And then
Priest
you
is a
see him
big
against
man.
somebody. Yeah, you see him against somebody else, and you're like, shit, he's a lot bigger than I thought he was.
Whereas it,
So have Braun Strowman come out as an equalizer
mm,
against Priest and Judgment Day and Logan, I think was fantastic.
it's definitely, yeah, good twist. That was just nice to see him
It's
back, and
Yeah, it's been a
I
good
pray
week, and
that
I'm excited to see what happens Friday, and obviously at Backlash.
again. Don't
And
forget, SmackDown starts early Friday,
yeah, because obviously coming from
but I'm gonna
France, yeah.
miss it live, which is annoying. So I'm gonna have to catch up
Yeah,
later.
because you're doing you doing
I'll
your
be
stream, aren't you?
no, no, no. going out for
Oh,
dinner.
you're not streaming this week? Oh,
I've been
well,
roped out for
now that's
dinner.
your excuse.
But obviously, it's normally on at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm happy days. I'll do
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. But yeah, this because it's obviously in France on Saturday.
yeah.
So yeah, don't forget early Friday, early Saturday. But I'll be watching live Saturday.
I'll be sure of watching live. I mean, my plan is on Saturday is to spend the day with the missus and the boy. My two eldest are at home with their mum, so I'm going to get as much time with them as I can, and then the evening I can spend as much time as I possibly can watching and keeping. I mean, the boy will probably watch it with me. I'll probably be watching it in Discord in a watch party and
Yeah,
have the mic muted because he'll be going,
be
"Oh
the
God,
perfect time. I'll yeah, this is the perfect opportunity to get my boy into it a bit more
yeah,
because he's already
that's exactly
a John Cena fan somehow. Barely
it."
like watched it, but he's watched the Scooby Doo's with
My
John
boy's the
Cena
same
in.
though. Oh yeah, my boy's the same. He's got the one DVD with John Cena, but he's also got the one with the Undertaker in and Triple H and all this lot there. They're doing like the monster truck racing.
Yeah,
But he's now a Cody fan. He's become a Cody crybaby, which I'm okay with. I'm all right with it. There's worse people to be a fan of. You know,
yeah. So
there's a lot worse people to be a fan of for
getting
sure.
him into that
But
because why not? Some good
how
matches.
old is your boy now?
He's 5 now, so he's perfect age.
Dude, you need to bring him to one of the shows that we go to. Honestly, he'll absolutely love it.
He's
I
per.
like I said to you, I took my boy last week, and I've never seen him so happy. Every time a wrestler came out, one of the baby faces gave him a high five because we were in the front row. He got told he was adopted by one of the heels. He was telling him to shut up. He was like, "Shut up!" And he went, "You shut up, kid. You're adopted." And I was like, "Oh damn, bombs were dropped."
He's now
But he,
reevaluating his whole life.
oh no, bless him. He turned around to my missus and he turned around and he said, "Mum," he said, "it didn't upset me on the outside, but it upset me a little bit on the inside." And he is a
I
bit
suppose it's
sensitive.
sort of unexpected though, isn't it? Like, I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
expect that
I mean, it
in the
is.
moment
Yeah.
until it
I mean,
hits
I've
after. It's
met
like,
them all,
oh,
and I've spoken to most of them, if not all of them now, and I've got a good rapport with them because I've been going since December. And as you know, I've got two of them lined up to be special guests with us. And actually, what I haven't told you is I spoke to another one yesterday, and I've got a third one lined up to be a special guest with us. So we've got a few amazing special guests coming up from the British wrestling scene. But yeah, and even like you talk to them after the show, they're like, they're so nice, they're amazing guys. Then you
mm.
shout at them in the ring, and they're like, "Shut up!" And you're like, "Fucking hell, you're completely different. You're an asshole." But they play the part so well, and it's great. And the atmosphere, even with a smaller crowd of like say I don't know 100 people in a town hall, is great, especially for a young kid to see it firsthand because you get to see everything that way. So that's why I took him. I was like, right, I'll take you to an indie show that I know is good. If you like it, then I'll potentially take you to a bigger show like Rev Pro and then eventually WWE.
Yeah.
Um, but now he's like, Dad, can we go back to SOS? I'm like, yeah, of course we can. Absolutely, we
That's
will.
it. He's got the
Absolutely, we're
bug.
loving it.
Like that's it
He's
now.
hooked, mate. But that's what happened to me. My brother showed me a wrestling show. My brother was 11 and I was 6, or maybe 10 and 5. But my brother introduced me to wrestling, and I've been hooked ever since. Ever since, and I love him for that. I love my brother for that because he was the one that got me into football and various other different things as
Mm.
well. Because he was my role model growing up. He was the older one. I looked up to him, and when I saw him watching wrestling, we used to play fight and play wrestle. We used to have these two sofas that we would put together in the living room to make a perfect square. And when my mum wasn't there, that was our wrestling ring. And we put him right in the middle of the ring, and he'd like clothesline me outside. I'd clothesline him. I'd jump on the side of it, and I'd fucking frog splash him in the middle. It was great, and I loved it. And I've just been hooked ever since. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
See, I never
I
had
don't
that.
think I'll ever not be.
I never had that sibling effect because obviously being an only child. But my ring was whack the double duvet down on the floor. It's a nice
Beat up
square
the
as a
pillows.
ring, beating the pillows and the teddies up.
Yeah, suplexes, Stone Cold Stunners.
Pillows walking down
I
as
did it with my cousin as
champions.
well.
So
Me and my cousin, even when I was, I'm not even ashamed to admit it, even when I was a little bit younger, and I'm only talking 15, 16 years younger, in my 20s, he used to come and stay at my house because he lives up in Warrington. He used to come down to me, and we'd wrestle on trampoline, drunk at like 11 o'clock at night. We're like,
oh
okay, we're
yeah,
gonna have a
but who
wrestling match,
wouldn't?
and suplexing each other.
What lads never like wrestled on a trampoline at whatever age, even if you
Exactly.
wasn't into it, you'd still wrestle your
Mate, I
mates.
still wrestle the kids now in the summer. I'll suplex Billy the Fish on the
DDTs,
I'll pick up beans.
the
Yeah,
lot.
exactly.
Rock bottoms are
450 smash.
perfect.
Hey, listen, I may be an overweight, out of shape 37-year-old, but I can still hit a 450 splash on the trampoline. All right. I'll even film it and send it out to you. But but yeah, I've like I say, I've just been hooked, and I think I love wrestling now like I did when I was 13, when I was at the height of watching it with WCW Nitro on Monday night, Monday Night Wars. I'm that in love with wrestling again, and it's nice to reignite that passion. And and the fact that we're doing this weekly, I'm loving. I look forward to every Wednesday night now.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I'm like, oh, it's hump day, baby. That means it's not only are we halfway through the week, but it's also podcast day. I
Oh
love it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely love it. But on that note, we are. I think we're about
Close the
out of
curtain.
time. So thank you. That's it. It is time to shut down. We'll have a new intro next week, by the way. Just so you know, it will be here with us next week. So we will have a new intro. But thank you everybody who listened to the first episode and has joined us for this one. And
Yep.
yeah, I'm excited. But before we go, I do want to ask you one question. What is the match you are looking forward to most at Backlash this coming weekend?
Great question. Great question. Oh, what do I pick? I've got two, but I'm gonna go with
I think I know what they're going to
what
be as well.
what might be the most favourite, but I'm looking forward to the Bloodline versus Randy and Kevin Owens
Yeah, I can see why. I
because
can see. I mean, I am looking forward to that as
I
well.
just yeah, the way it's built up and then what the possibilities are and how it ends. There's a lot to be seen, and the
Yeah.
second match that is on my top in my top two is Priest versus Jay because I am a big Priest fan and
Oh, you like the priest, eh? Catholic school there. Sorry, but yeah, no, I agree. So my two are as much as I like the Bloodline one and I love RK Owens. The two that I'm really looking forward to from a wrestling standpoint, rather than storyline. Storyline wise, has to be the Bloodline, but wrestling standpoint, Cody and AJ,
yeah,
and then Jay and Damien.
yeah. I think that Cody and AJ can put on a 5-star match if they're
Yeah.
willing to, depending on Cody's status. Obviously, we don't know what that
I mean,
is.
there's not been any news that I've seen yet in regards to, his shoulder. I mean, do we find out on Friday? Do they drop some news beforehand? But I mean, look what he did at Hell in a Cell
Yep.
against Seth Rollins. He wrestled with a bloody torn pectoral muscle and bruised all over. So it wouldn't surprise me. But the worst thing is the shoulder that he landed on. Notice it was his right hand shoulder. Is exactly the same pec that he tore.
Yeah.
It was
So
exactly the same side.
very
So
interesting.
has there been some damage there to a recently injured area of the body? It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, they're my two from a wrestling standpoint, but story standpoint, definitely the Bloodline and RK
Yeah,
Owens.
it's just because I get to see. It's just because you get to see Randy Orton in a ring again. Like that's what I'm looking forward to.
Again, just when he returned to War
The
Games,
Viper.
yeah, oh, my mind was just blown. I was like, he's coming. And then they were like, he's not coming. And I was like, yes, he's coming. He's definitely coming. And he came and he conquered. But yeah, on that note, thank
Yeah,
you everybody so much for joining us. We will see you again next week, post 3 days of wrestling next week for WWE.
yeah.
SmackDown,
Plenty of
obviously,
talking
Backlash,
points.
and then Raw. Oh yeah, next week's gonna be definitely a good one.
Are we going to see some
But
new
thank you so much.
champions or not? Remains to be seen. But
That's the question.
we're going to get some good matches. So let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal week for sure. And I'm already very excited for next Wednesday.
Yeah, baby.
But on that note, take care, people. Thank you very much.
Peace
And
out.
thank you for joining in Turnbuckle Talk.